quarter in a row, the number of complaints has risen.
Telstra had 10.2% of complaints referred to the TIO, and TPG had 6.7%. Optus had 5.4%.
A cheeky billboard for a Beverley car mechanic will be allowed to stay despite a complaint. The Adelaide Cylinder Heads billboard on Port Road has been there for 15 years and advertises the best head jobs in town. The advertising watchdog has dismissed the complaint. Co-owner Gary Pelham says common sense has prevailed.
We physically repair the cylinder heads. We've always advertised it, and a lot of the mechanics use that terminology when they, talk to their customers anyway to repair the cylinder head.
And the ATSB has released its preliminary report on this year's Avalon Airshow crash, which seriously injured the pilot. And investigations found an aerobatics plane, which crashed in front of thousands of people, may have started a tricky manoeuvre too close to the ground. There were no faults with the aircraft prior to taking off. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Collect the latest Pokemon packs and single cards at Sports Card World, Regent Arcade, Rundle Mall.
Other AFL coaches are rallying behind Michael Voss after revelations he's received a death threat from a Carlton fan. The AFL's integrity department's investigating the matter. Crows coach Matthew Nick says it's disappointing.
There's a line, I think, that obviously crosses the line. There's an understanding from us that we're in a pressured job, and the environment is pressured. People love their sport and, we live for it, but I think there's a line that you just don't cross, and I think we have on this occasion.
While in the AFLW, young forward Brooke Tonnon has signed a one-year contract extension with the Crows. And Rugby League State of Origin will be decided in Sydney tonight. New South Wales is taking an unchanged lineup into the game against Queensland. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Heavy showers rolling through this afternoon, so take it easy on the drive. Look out for flooding at Modbury North East Road near Kelly Road. Pretty slow at the moment due to the weather and roadworks at O'Halloran Hill. That's on the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Getting busy South Road, Edwardstown, with cameras today. Midway Road, Elizabeth Park, Whites Road at Paralawi. Every day, all around Australia, extraordinary people create moments that inspire. See them, hear them. All you have to do is nominate them at australianoftheyear.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Rain, windy and 12 today. Showers tomorrow, 14. Showers on Friday, 17. And then mostly sunny for Saturday, also 17. At the moment, 10. Now let's see what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Brenton Raglas. Tonight, a woman accused of drink driving with a young child in the car on the wrong side of a major Adelaide road. The exclusive vision that will shock you. 200 local childcare centres failing to meet standards. So what's being done? Free footy tickets for drought-affected families. And advice for victims of Qantas's hack. 9 News. Your news. MyBed 6 on 9 and on 9 now.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide. The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie, I am flabbergasted, and Timmy G.
Absolute sports festival. Good afternoon, 6 minutes after 4 on this Wednesday. It's one of those days, it's one of those dark and wet ones out there as we drive home, so please be careful on the roads. Keep us updated as well if you've got any road weather alerts throughout the afternoon. We'll try and navigate you home safely. Rowie's still on the sick leave, so Campo's back with Timmy G. Good afternoon.
He's got the hat-trick, Sam. He's got the hat-trick, so congratulations, Campo.
Thank you.
Well done, mate. 3 for.
Good to be here, thank you.
Yeah,
Hope he's getting better, though.
That's it, mate. Yep. Get back to your mark and let's get another wicket, okay?
Righto.
Well
okay.
done, mate.
Double hat-trick.
That's what I like. Yes. Now, double hat-trick's just 4 wickets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always got sucked in to that one as a kid.
Thinking it's 6.
Yeah, thinking it's 6, but it's only 4. There you go. The things you learn on this sports show.
Put that in the book.
Go. Yeah, put that in the book. The big book.
Every day.
Exactly right. Well, it is Wednesday, and please be part of the show. 8223 0000. Campo, Wednesdays for me. Well, one of my happy days of the week when I was preparing for football.
Yep.
I found, because we had a very normal routine playing on a Saturday.
Yep.
You played the game, you had your recovery Sunday morning, you trained Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday was basically a day off. If you wanted to go and do some gym, you could. Thursday was your selection night. wear the fancy socks, get selected, and Friday was rest day, bang, Saturday again.
Straight into
So
it.
Wednesday was a sort of you're midweek, you're feeling like the body's recovering and the like. What was it like when you played? You like it?
Yeah, well, I think it changed because it was sort of...
Of course it did,
Because
yeah.
it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday when I was playing, your week sort of varied as to when you had your day off during that. But, then when I went into coaching, the Players Association brought in that it was like the same day every week. So
You got
the
a day
players,
off.
So the
Yeah.
players could then go and do some study or go and do some work and that sort of thing.
And the
But
great Malcolm Blight invented Thursdays as
golf day.
every day off. Everybody have a day off, and I'll play golf. Yeah.
So, it was, and I guess back in those days, Timmy, as well, you were working, so you were still work, whereas the players now, they're not, I don't reckon they really have a day off anymore.
Yeah, right.
Even though they're not expected to come in, they would be doing touch, getting massage or physio.
We spoke to
or
Riley
whatever.
O'Brien. He goes and does these almost like mindful sessions, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well, they
And
do a lot.
does a lot of sauna.
Pilates. They do a lot of Pilates, the modern day players. So they're doing other things, not necessarily at the club, but they're still, I guess, working.
By the time you went to Carlton, it was 30 years ago, 95. Were you full time?
No, I was finishing. Finishing my apprenticeship, so I was working 40 hours a week as a lift mechanic, like doing my electrical apprenticeship.
Wow.
I laugh because obviously my boys this year, and they go, pre-season. I said, pre-season, I used to work 40 hours a week. We used to have to do weights in the morning, so I had to be on site at 7 in the morning. So I'd have to go and do my weights between 5 and 6 in the morning, then have a shower, have some breakfast, and then be on site, go to work all day, and then you'd come back and got absolutely flogged till 8 o'clock at night because everyone was working at that stage.
These young'uns don't know how hard it was back in my day.
Yeah, not rolling in at sort of 9:30 and then got the breakfast bar and the protein shakes. And, I've got all my gear hung up. You don't have to do any washing. There's towels.
I must admit that side of it, working at Port Adelaide and seeing them walk in and seeing all that stuff set up for them, and the younger guys might have more protein powders and things to take and the like.
Creatine and whatever.
Quite a setup.
But it
isn't
probably
it?
moved. I reckon it probably moved around 99. I reckon was the time when it sort of started to go.
Like you got to stay here full time.
Well, that's when the whole program changed to more full time. So, but when I got there, Sticks was working. He had a printing company. Braddles is the same. There's probably only Greg Williams may have been sort of semi. Between the two, but most of it. Pretty much everyone had a job when I started.
There you go, Wednesdays. How those memories fly back. Now, Adelaide, they have got a huge game this week. That particular round, this round coming up, is phenomenal. It's every team in the 9, bar Brisbane, are playing each other. Yeah. And that includes, of course, Adelaide playing on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, and an important one too with Hawthorn and Freo. That's a big one for Freo. Maybe not so much, Hawthorn, but isn't it funny, that gap? Like even the Bulldogs you're talking about with Adelaide, they can both be on 44 points, and there's a few of them that are going to be around that sort of area, isn't it? So, and Adelaide have got an important 3 weeks after that as well.
Yeah, well, I think it's Collingwood Suns Friday night, so that's 7th versus 1st. You've got Saturday Arvo, Adelaide, of course, Bulldogs, Giants Geelong, 4th v 8, and then 9th, Freo v Hawks on the Saturday night. So there's going to get some separation. That's what's going to start to happen. All those that are in there and think they're a chance, well, here is your opportunity.
Well, and most of them, I think other than, correct me if I'm wrong, Tuggers, Geelong might have the softer draw, for want of a better word, out of the other teams. Like I know Brisbane have got a pretty hard draw. Adelaide are playing a few teams, around
4 inside the 8.
Yeah, so some teams are, have already played the top teams and have come out at okay, but it is what it is.
Well, Matty Nix, because of all this and what I've just presented, he's placing more emphasis on this week.
We will be aware. We won't hide from the fact it's a big week, but we're locked in on this week. Some will call it movement week. It's, a lot of teams playing against teams around the ladder, same position. This will be quite a big week as far as putting in place what happens later in the year, but we'll be locked in on this week, I can tell you that, which our guys have done really well.
Yeah, I like that. I don't mind putting a bit more emphasis on it. Because finals are more emphasis.
Yeah. Well, I think what they've done is they actually have narrowed the focus, and it's been about process and those sort of things, and it's done them really well this year. Maybe it is a bit of a tune-up to say this is a finals-type game. How are we going to handle it? What's the build-up if we do have to play interstate? All those sort of things. But, I wouldn't have thought they'd shy away from too much of what they've been doing because it's worked pretty well, albeit they need to probably, and I hate using the word scout, but they'll want a good performance and a win interstate, because they've gone close this year, but not necessarily beaten a top 8 team.
John's just chimed in on the unique homestyle food text. Campo, pre-season in my day was 2 weeks after the local cricket grand final.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's actually
It's
probably true.
It was
isn't it?
100% true.
Everybody used to play cricket and footy, and then when cricket was over, all right, have a couple of weeks of kicking the ball around. Let's get in the trial games.
Yeah.
Done. Good old days. Now here's Nixie on, of course, Josh Rochelle being out. Who's going to replace him?
Well, not necessarily, but it'll be obviously a forward coming in that's playing a similar role at Samford. Will never be exactly the same player as Josh, but there are some guys there that are knocking on the door that we've been really impressed with. Zachy Taylor's you've already seen him this year. Braden Cook's playing some great footy back there. I could go through a few others, and then Curvis is another one who's putting his name up as well.
Who do you like as an option, perhaps? I sometimes feel like it's difficult to sort of just go one for one. But what is it that they need for that replacement?
Well, it's probably structural and philosophical as to how you want to play. So my immediate thought process to that is, do they just go, no, we're going to settle Isaac Rankin down and he's going to play more forward? So it's like for like in terms of having that class and finish in there.
Like it.
Because that's essentially what they did last week, and they did that a little bit before.
Add a midfielder and allow
so that gives them the opportunity to perhaps play a midfielder instead of trying to go a forward. Yep. So it's either Cook or Dowling's had a crack at it, Pedler's had a crack at it, Murphy's had a crack at it, but I think they should go past that one, in terms of what that looks like. And they've obviously had Taylor last week who came in late after Wayne Miller. So Wayne will obviously come back in, albeit that everything's okay, in his personal space. But it's an interesting one because then do you then go, do we inject a Draper or a Pedler to add to the minutes that Isaac was perhaps playing through the midfield, and give him more opportunity through there. So that means Isaac can play. And then you've still got the opportunity that if you feel like Isaac's either getting, dragged down or he's not having any influence, you can spit him through, and that's a like for like. So my thinking at the moment would be they'd probably go, let's play Isaac a little bit more forward and see what that looks like, because I think they've got the opportunity and some time to do that. And with Josh, it looks like it's going to be a period of time. And maybe let's have a look at another midfielder that might come in. All righty, we'll see how that rolls out. Last night we sort of revealed, Cal Toomey had said Chase Burgoyne is going to get a 4-year deal. Now, that hasn't actually landed just yet, but he added some more onto it.
This is a twofold signing influence because, yes, it's a 4-year deal for him that'll get him through to his free agency deal, so a good player ticked off. But the real domino effect here is that he's the major draw card for Nazai Wanganeen-Miller considering Port Adelaide.
So he's linking the mateship between those two, connecting it to a 4-year deal. Now, Cal, I can appreciate the friendship, but I think that's a little insulting to Jace Burgoyne. I think he's earned his 4-year deal. Should it be that? Yeah. Should it land? Yeah. Well, I think it's probably an added, benefit on top of that. If you can do that, but I'm not sure that's the total. It wouldn't be the motivation, would it? Well, you're not going to sign a person for 4 years if you don't think they can play. Well, I wonder if Jace would be happy with that. We only thought 2, but we'll give you 4 on the basis if you can get get your mate over and sell us off. But sound a bit cheeky to me. Yeah. Something that was a bit more disturbing was and you would have heard it in the news, was the Michael Voss death threat. Now, terrible. Apparently, this came through during the Collingwood game, and it went to the 1-800 respect number they put up on scoreboards and all that. It was text to that. And that's really poor taste in itself. But Vossi himself was just commenting on how, I suppose, it affects others.
As a result of what I do, you appreciate there's an element of scrutiny that comes with that. But then there's a part that's completely unacceptable. But this is the current nature that we need to consider within the AFL environment. Yeah, and it is unsavoury for starters, but I understand the anger and all the rest of it that all of us fans get when our team isn't performing. You can't stoop to that. No, I just find it fascinating that we still have to deal with this stuff. It's like the racism texts and all that stuff. I just think when are we going to grow up as a society and go that there's a line and you don't cross it? Now, Vossi's absolutely trying to do his best.
yeah, it hasn't gone for whatever reason it may be, but he's still a person and he's still got family. And that's the biggest thing for me. It doesn't only, and when you're in that scenario, you can take it on board yourself because you know that that's what you sign up for. But when it starts affecting your family, either as a player or as a coach,
threatening life.
Yeah, that's way out of the realms.
Tony Shaw, not happy.
This has to be criminal, and I hope they find whoever's done it. And one thing, he should never go to the football ever again. Should be banned by Carlton and the AFL. And he should face charges. But he or she, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But what do they charge you with? Because I think it came out, I think it was in the transcript that we read, that there was no, that the police couldn't lay charges with whatever was written. So, what do you charge them with? Other than stupidity? Yeah, correct. And not having, because I always look at it and go, if you were in Michael Voss's position and that was you, how would you respond to that sort of text message? You know, it's like anything in those things.
But can the AFL, it's in front of the AFL Integrity Unit, can they just enforce a ban on you can't come to games for so ever long and at least send a message?
Yeah, but so what? Like, what, because so you can't go to the footy anymore and he gets away with a death threat? I'm not sure that's, like for like, is it?
Well, but the AFL would want to set
ban that
Oh, they absolutely. They want to set a tone for it. Yeah, absolutely.
They banned that fan for 2 years who hugged a player, didn't they?
That's true.
Yeah. He got 2 years, I reckon, for hugging him. Now, we don't want spectators touching players, but that was a less threatening moment, I would have thought.
That was an act of care.
Care, exactly. Oh, dear. Hey, State of Origin, Game 3 in Sydney.
Do you like it? Do you like the State of Origin?
I've always loved it. Yeah. I sort of, in the 80s, a mate of mine, he was considerably older, worked with him at Balfour's, and he was from New South Wales, Lithgow. He used to fight in those boxing tents. I mean, he was hard. And I loved him, but he said, no, he couldn't understand Aussie rules. Right? He said, sit down. He said, we're going to watch a real game. And it was the NRL final, and it was Canberra versus Balmain Tigers back then. Yeah, way back. And I sort of got into it. And I thought, wow, I don't mind this game. And then St. George came out and played a game at Adelaide Oval. I went out and watched that. And I thought, yeah, I'm into this. And then Origin sort of kicked off around a similar time. It's great. And it's just unbelievable. They've taken over what was our game.
I really look forward to it. I used to watch it. That was with my boys. We used to sit down. We used to always sit down together and watch it. We'll be texting tonight while the game's on. Love it.
Well, Game 3 in Sydney tonight is the third decider in 4 years. So basically, 3 out of 4 have gone down to the third game. So this time it's in Sydney, which is first time for a while, I believe. So
2019.
Yeah, 2019. There you go. So 6 years ago. So this is it's a big one for Sydney. Let's face it, New South Wales have. They started off as they're the favourites and all the rest of it, but Queensland have, being the underdog, have taken that over and they own the ledger and they've won 9 in a row or something ridiculous and all the rest of it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of an upset. Now, something that might be inspiring this is Queensland captain Cam Munster. His father, unfortunately, passed away, and he left the training camp for a while to go back with family, which is fair enough, mum and his sister, and then told Billy Slater, no, I'm playing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And all I was thinking right there was if they win, that could be an incredible, inspiring sporting story.
Yeah.
And I'd like to go to the phones, 8223 0000. Have you got an inspiring story, maybe something from tragedy to triumph? And it's still a Stephen Bradbury ban, all right? Even though Roey's not here, there is still a ban on Stephen Bradbury, all right? So we want your calls, 8223 0000. We've got a $50 Powers voucher on the line for that. And will mention for Con, there is the FIFA
Club
World Cup. And the cup final, they played a semi and they won 2-0. Congratulations to Chelsea. They're in the final, and the opposition, I'm not going to try and pronounce. Fluminense? Fluminense?
I haven't even looked at it,
I think they caught that last week. I think Roey's got it.
Yeah, he's currently got it. All right. It's time to get your calls on the air. It's 22 after 4, 8223 0000. And we got plenty coming up as well. Ticket-wise, we've got everything. You want tickets to the British Lions game on Saturday? We've got them. You want tickets to the Thunderbirds on the weekend? Big final game?
Massive
we've got them.
In or out?
Do you want tickets to the Sunday Port Adelaide v West Coast game in the 5AA locker room. We got them as well. So that's all coming up. Jimmy Bartell, where are they now? We'll have a couple of our Aussie Wallaby New Zealand players very shortly. We'll cross to State of Origin's decider, and Thunderbirds will chat about them with Matilda Garrett. It's 22 after 4.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
If you're thinking about adding a battery or going solar and battery together, there's never been a better time. The federal government's cheaper home battery rebate could save you up to $18,500 on a quality system. NRG Solar are ready to help you maximise your savings, and yes, systems installed from now qualify. Beat the rush. Visit nrgsolar.com.au or call 1300 858 160. That's 1300 858 160 to book your quote today.
Hi, Brett Ebert here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. They'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. And your breakfast or lunch is on them. Your car gets the love too with their state-of-the-art service centre, brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, they'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
You wake up and you're feeling a bit off. Your nose is runny, but maybe it's just a cold. That scratchy throat, though, that could be something worse.
Test for COVID, Flu A, Flu B and RSV in just minutes with Cell Life, the premium 4-in-1 rapid antigen test. Fast, reliable results. Make the smart choice for your health and your family. Insist on the brand the healthcare professionals prefer. Cell Life at leading chemists and Amazon. CELLIFE.
Drive away with a bargain this winter at Camporeale and RV Supercentre. Receive up to $5,000 of bonus value on cashbacks, fuel vouchers and free extended warranties on selected top brands. Shop from Winnebago, Windsor, Corrimal and Hitchhiker. With the largest selection of certified pre-owned RVs available nationally. We're your one-stop shop for new and used caravans, camper vans, motorhomes and more. Hurry while stocks last. Visit Camporeale and RV Supercentre, Parafield Gardens.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry Sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry Sale. On now.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to get 25% off? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? To the largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers. And get 25% off your cabinets with laminate bench tops. For a limited time, of course. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticketek.
Rowie and Timmy G. The 5AA Sports Show.
26 minutes after 4. Your calls coming up right after this 8223 first. We have to check your roads out there because it is a little wet and windy and quite dark too. So please take care. For Rossdale Homes, SA's most trusted, custom design, fixed pricing and a total peace of mind because trust is a must.
Heavy showers rolling through this afternoon. Take it easy on the road and look out for localised flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road. Henley Beach, urgent gas work, Seaview Road near Grange Road, and due to the weather and road works, really slow at O'Halloran Hill at the moment. Works on the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Cameras, Whites Road, Paralawi and Waterloo Corner Road at Burton. How much better would your day be with $100,000? The MS Cash for a Cause is your chance to win. Search MS Cash for a Cause and get your tickets now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Yeah, taking your calls, just looking for inspirational sporting stories, perhaps tragedy to triumph. Westlake's Owen. G'day, Owen.
G'day, boys. How are you?
Oh, having a reasonable afternoon, considering it's 9 degrees outside. Stay safe.
Yeah, inspiring story. 2011, I think it was, when Jared McVeigh lost his young daughter, Luella, who was only a couple of weeks old. And later that week, the Swannies went down to Geelong and Jared played, and Geelong hadn't lost the game down there, and I think about 30 matches, and the Swannies got up, and just the scenes after the game,
I remember that
inspiring.
one, Owen. I remember that one. Gee, yeah, it was sad. It was testimony to his resilience as well. And I don't know, Kempo, sometimes I think it's good to play. You don't know how you're going to play, but I think it's good to play.
Well, I think it's a bit individual, isn't it? I mean, it's, it depends. I mean, we all grieve differently. And
true.
You and I probably that would be the icebreaker, just to go out and perhaps not think about it. But there's certainly, reasons why you wouldn't play as well. But it was sad. That's it.
Let's go to Noarlunga Downs. Brett, you got one for us?
Yeah, g'day, fellas. I've got a couple of things. One is Jason McCartney when he came back.
Yes, that was inspiring.
Yeah, just to play again and just to retire after that. I think, just play that game. I think that was inspiring and that. And just with the State Origin on tonight with the Rugby League, on Facebook, on Footy on 9, they got the best players from each state for the last 25 years that would play State Origin. And just wondering what everyone's opinion would be, who would win. Like, there's some really good, fantastic players, who would play for the Allies, South Australia, Victoria, West Australia, so just to go through them, and I think, some good players there.
Gee whiz, it'd be a hard team to put together, Brett. I reckon that'd be a selection committee you might not want to be on. I've always said if you make a list of anything or pick a team of any era and all the rest of it, I reckon only more grief comes out than good. People
there's
get
always going
upset,
to be. Why didn't you pick me today?
Why am I in the seat? I can't believe it. What are you telling me for? So, keep them coming. Inspirational stories.
All right, we are going to do more of those very shortly. Jump on the Ranella Hyundai live stream, though, because straight after the 4:30 headlines, we have a massive Saturday coming up at Adelaide Oval. The British Lions are in town. They're taking on the Australia-New Zealand 15, and we have two of their players in studio next, Jock Campbell and Lukan Salakaya Loto.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G. 5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
The algal bloom crisis that has been plaguing a lot of our coastline. We're joined by Claire Scriven, the Primary Industries Minister.
So some relief is on the way. That's right. So commercial fishers pay licence fees to FIVEAA. So what we've done is announced that up to $500,000 will be provided in fee relief for commercial fishers.
Weekday mornings from 6 on 5AA. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, I'm Kendall Brettig. Adelaide's had a drenching today, recording its wettest day in 18 months. The US is threatening to increase tariffs on pharmaceuticals by up to 200%. Hundreds of childcare centres across SA are failing to meet national standards. And in a first for the Bend, it'll host an enduro race later this year. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Quite heavy showers running through this afternoon, so take it easy on the drive. And with that, localised flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road. Urgent gas works at Henley Beach, Seaview Road near Grange Road. And with the weather and roadworks, really slow at O'Halloran Hill, the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Camera 2 this afternoon, Kings Road at Paralawi. This week, use them on a Woolworths shop and collect up to 5,000 bonus points. Hurry, the Big Points Blitz ends July 15. Min redemption and T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rain tonight and showers tomorrow, a high of 15, at the moment 10. More news at 5 o'clock on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Here's a stat you need to hear. Literally, 1 in 6 Australians are living with some sort of hearing loss. It's hard to notice because it creeps up on you, but it doesn't have to get in the way of things. Not if you do something about it now. Can Do Hearing can provide solutions to make living with hearing loss so much better. And your options are almost endless. Book an appointment with Can Do Hearing. candohearing.com.au. That sounds better.
Are you ready to unleash your vehicle's power beyond limits? Look no further than Battery World, your trusted battery experts. Discover our exclusive range of Yuasa automotive batteries. Engineered for unparalleled reliability and performance, Yuasa batteries will power your journey like never before. At Battery World, we test, we fit, and yes, we deliver. When it comes to powering your ride, trust the experts at Battery World. Visit us in store or online today. Battery World, power your passion.
The Lions are coming. Witness the best of international rugby when the North combine to take on the South at Adelaide Oval. The Lions versus the Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. Tickets at Ticketek.
At Coles, save with 40% off dental items like Colgate Advanced Tartar and Whitening or Max Fresh Toothpaste. 115 grams, now just $3.90. Shop in store or online at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday. Excludes everyday, down, and clearance items.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Here's who you can support around Adelaide. The Excelsior Hotel has 20% seniors discount on meals 12 till 3 Monday to Friday and all day weekends. The Excelsior Hotel Brompton. Feels like coming home, but better. It's back. Barnacle Bill's Bounty Pack. Fish, prawns, calamari, spring rolls, chips, tartare sauce and a 1.25 litre Coke for just $35. 5AA. Supporting local business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Laura Willington. Understaffing in our hospitals is harming you and me. We urgently need a workforce plan to identify the right number of doctors for each of our hospitals and health services. And we need fair wages and conditions to attract and keep doctors so you can access care when you need it. Help make our health system safer for you and safer for me. Visit safermedicalstaffing.com.au. Authorised by Dr. Laura Willington, President, South Australian Salaried Medical Officers Association, Adelaide.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticketek.
Rowie and Timmy G. The 5AA Sports Show.
26 minutes to 5. Campo sitting in for Rowie for tonight's Wednesday program. We're taking your calls, 8223 0000. Jimmy Bartell to join us after 5 o'clock. Where are they now as well? Not too far away. And if you jump on the Ranella Hyundai live stream, we're on Facebook and YouTube, you'll see some special faces in studio with us.
You certainly will. Australia-New Zealand Invitational 15 going to take on the British Lions. So this is a big game coming up. We've got a couple of Wallaby stars in the room, and it's Lucan Salakaya Loto and Jock Campbell. How did I go, boys? All right? Your name was easy, Jock.
Yeah, you got mine right.
Lucan, how'd that go? Sound
No,
right?
it's good. Two of the three of you have pronounced it.
All right, we're going right.
I
was not having a crack at it. There's no way.
He's backed out at 100 mile an hour. We're looking forward to this. I mean, I'm going Saturday night, and I was just thinking the concept itself, it's been a long time since they put it together. Do you like the fact that we're bringing some New Zealand things together? I mean, we've been arch rivals for a long time. This is a different concept altogether.
Yeah, it's unreal. Obviously something that's very exciting, and I guess the opportunity that we have as players, but also as fans to sort of witness what's going to take place on Saturday is pretty special. So I think for everyone involved, it's an awesome week, and we've enjoyed it, every step of the way so far.
So it's been like a little camp or something. You've been together and trying to work out how you're going to play and who's going to play and the like?
Yeah, so we got here Saturday. Other guys have got here, when they can on Sunday or even early Monday, and sort of just getting to know each other really, because obviously we know each other as players, but not really as people. So, obviously getting to know, especially the Kiwi guys, has been a good experience, and also at training and learning off them, it's been good.
Well, there's a good mix of Kiwis and the Australian boys, and over 300 games of capped players that have done it. So you've got great experience. How much does that count in a series like this coming up against the Lions?
Oh, experience helps, right?
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, over 300 caps of test games played amongst the group. So, look, we're not short of, experience in that sense. We've got a lot of boys that have, performed at that high level, for a long time. So, like Jock said, getting to know each other has probably been the most fun part. A few beers here and there, trying to understand each other and, just get that chemistry going real quick. So, like Jock said, it's been going well so far.
And you play for the Reds, and your coach happens to be the coach of this, so that's a benefit for you for selection, because you can get in and just sort of feather him a little bit, whatever. But how do you go around a game style? Obviously, you guys will play differently, to perhaps the Australians compared to the New Zealanders. How do you amalgamate a game style, because you're on the big stage and it's playing for keeps?
We all do play differently, but there's a lot of similarities, and you just try to get those concepts that are easy to understand, because we only do have 3 sessions together.
Yeah.
So there's obviously Les, the head coach. There's also Fozzie, Cronny, and Chock, all different clubs. So I guess they've just come together and put a style that they think will suit our team and the players we've got. And then we sort of just learned that from there.
Do the players have much input into that as well, like in terms of the senior players that have perhaps been around a while?
Yeah, I think it's been, I guess, that alignment between players and coaches. And like Jock said, we've only got a couple of sessions together. So it's just, getting on board of, I guess, what we seem that'll fit for us this week. And it's been good, seeing how other players work, how other coaches, I guess, operate in this space has been, it's been really enjoyable, but it's also been an unreal learning experience in the short amount of time we've been together.
I saw the Waratahs game that played against the British Lions. I thought they pushed them for a while there as well, and maybe perhaps gave you guys a bit of scouting information that you could use.
Yeah, exactly. The Lions this year, obviously we've played against them before as our club team, and they sort of knew a lot about us and not much about them. And I guess the roles are reversed now. Obviously, we're sort of the invitational team, no footage on us, and they don't know what we're going to do. And I guess that's a little bit of an advantage for us. And I guess they've played 4 or 5 games now.
Yeah.
So obviously looking at that, be very keen to watch tonight, see how they go. And obviously the coaches will be looking and seeing some areas that we can exploit.
Not surprising. They're made up of England and Ireland and Wales and Scotland. And there was a Jones in there from Wales, which surprised, but he was pretty slick, actually. Will he play again tonight against the Brumbies, or will they give him a rest, or they rotate players through?
I'm actually not sure who's in the centres this week. He's a good player, Hugh. Plays with an Aussie Sione over there in Scotland and for the Irish Lions. So, no, it's good. He's been playing well, and we'll see if he's up against us on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, Wallabies will then play 3 tests against the Lions. The first one will be in Brisbane next Saturday night after this one. So that's when it gets real serious.
Yeah, well, I guess if you sort of look at the team that they fielded tonight, you'd probably say that that's an indication of the team that they're probably going to play first test next week.
Right.
So, yeah, like these past 3 games that they've played against us Aussie boys, the guys are playing for jerseys, I assume. So, look, it doesn't really matter because the team that we'll face on Saturday, they're all starters for their country. So it's going to be a strong team regardless.
So you guys will be full dress rehearsal in terms of how you start and the team that's selected, or will you just have something in your back pocket to roll into the game one?
I guess for us, we're just focused on this week, what's coming up, because we don't know what will happen after that.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see what happens.
And obviously, you've come from different environments, different places around the world. Who's surprised you in terms, because, Timmy and I played in the AFL, and you sit there and go, geez, I played against him. He was an absolute drop kick or a moron. But when you get behind closed doors and you have a beer with him, you go, he's actually not a bad fella.
I think if you ask most boys, they'd probably say myself. It was actually funny. I was having a beer the other night with Hoskins Satutu, who plays for the Blues and the All Blacks, obviously, and we were just chatting, and he just said, he's like, bro, like, every time we play against you, I always think that, you're this and that, and he goes, you're actually not too bad. And I was like, bro, honestly, I have the same thoughts about you as well. So, but it's funny, how, rugby brings everyone together. It's a sport that, it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what you believe in. It's a community that brings us all together, and you mix that in with a couple of beers, you quickly realise that everyone's, very much the same. So it's been an unreal week, and a week that we'll never get back. So I guess in terms of preparation and connection, we're going full throttle on that.
Excellent. Any other sporting interests? I love the darts. We had Simon Whitlock on last night, the Wizard. So I don't know if there's anything else you like pursuing.
No, well, today I was actually fortunate enough to go see the cricketers at the ground there. So I got a little tour of the Adelaide Oval, and got to go see the nets. And one of the other boys actually chucked on the pads. They gave him the pads, and they had a bowl to him, and I sort of chucked a few at him. So I'm a big cricket fan. So obviously being a cricket fan playing at the Adelaide Oval's a pretty cool experience for myself. And just getting to look around and seeing all the history there was awesome.
It's one of the most beautiful grounds in the world, I think. Now I know you've got an interest outside of rugby union. You like to box, don't you?
Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
My brother's actually a boxer and a mixed martial artist.
Wow.
I've done a little bit of boxing growing up, but yeah, it's something that I'm a huge fan of the sport, especially when you see boxers that are doing well out of Australia and New Zealand. It's awesome to see. So who knows, maybe one day.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the Olympics? I like watching the Olympics because it's fast and furious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's reffed a bit different to professional boxing.
Yeah.
Professional boxing. So look, we got a lot of boxers coming out of the Pacific in Australia and that are doing well. So, and a big fight next Wednesday, Gow and Big Sonny Bill. So that'll be interesting to watch.
That's personal, that one.
Yeah. I love that. Hey, Jock, you've got Les Kiss as a coach. He's now the Wallabies coach, and he'll be coaching this Australia-New Zealand 15. What can he bring to the Wallabies that we haven't had before? What's different about Les?
Obviously haven't experienced a lot of the coaches, but I think Les just genuinely cares for his players and he's really easy to talk to and collaborative. Obviously been overseas and he's experienced probably one of the best programs in Ireland for many years and been over there. And what he's brought to the Reds has been a real, I guess, holistic and full business type program. It's not just the rugby side, commercial side and the business side. He's sort of brought the whole business together. And we all sort of have the same goals and everyone's sort of talking about the same thing. So I think that's a real strength of his, apart from obviously his knowledge on the game and stuff like that. But I just think he's really good at, making you feel welcome, bringing people together. I think rugby needs a bit of that.
Yeah, well, the connection between these two sides would be needing exactly that. Hey, guys, all the best. Thanks very much for coming in. We appreciate it. I'm going to be there Saturday night watching the Australian-New Zealand 15 take on the British Irish Lions, and it's at 7:15 Saturday night. Still some tickets available. You can get them from Ticketek and the Great Adelaide Oval. It'll be a sensational sight, and all the best in the game, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Fantastic. If you'd like to go and see Lucan and Jock go and play Adelaide Oval this Saturday, you can. We've got some tickets right now. A double pass if you'd like to head along.
Freebies.
8223 0055. Be the first caller through. You can win those tickets. Let's check your traffic.
Heavy showers running through this afternoon, so take it easy on the drive. And with that, localised flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road. That weather and roadworks making it slow for the drive at O'Halloran Hill, the Southern Expressway near Majors Road, and also equally making it quite busy, Tapley to Raglan Hill North. Camera.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
For the very latest in local footy, tune in to the 5AA Sandful Show each Monday from 6:30 p.m. It's tradition, it's excitement, and it's beats, eats, and footy fun with your mates. Sandful, nothing beats it.
Got something big to budge? Budget with Budget. Little trucks, big trucks. You can do it all in a budget rental truck. Get exactly what you need and at a great price too. So remember, whatever you've got to budget with a budget rental truck. Budget car and truck rental. Call 13 27 27. That's 13 27 27.
Budget with a budget renter truck. It's quick and cheap. Well, have your luck when you budget with a budget renter truck. City Discount Tires.
Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tires, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Built for Australia, built for adventure. Looking for your next big escape? Snowy River Adelaide has arrived in Valley View, your local home for award-winning caravans built for adventure and unbeatable value. Whether you're upgrading or just starting out, your journey begins at Snowy River Adelaide. Explore the stunning range today. Visit snowyriveradelaide.com.au or better yet, drop by 817 North East Road, Valley View. Snowy River Adelaide, where your journey begins.
If you can mow your lawns, you can easily reline your leaking roof gutters for a fraction of the cost of new ones. Guts' DIY kit makes it easy. No ripping out, no expensive trades. Just a smart waterproof liner that installs in place for under $10 a metre. And it comes with a 10-year warranty. It's a simple job with long-term peace of mind. See how easy it is at gutsa.com.au. Watch the video at gutsa.com.au.
Nothing can be finer than Gutsa liner.
G'day, it's Ben from BJ Energy. Lately I've had a lot of people asking about the federal battery rebate, what it is, how it works and whether they're eligible. At BJ Energy, we've done the homework. Our job is to help you make the most of the rebate while it's still around. So if you're thinking about solar or a home battery, or just have any questions about the federal battery rebate, it's easy to get in touch with us. No sales pitch, just straight answers. Visit bjenergy.com.au. That's bjenergy.com.au.
Adelaide, can you hear the roar? The British and Irish Lions are coming in a one-night-only event this July. 6 nations will clash in the heart of Adelaide at the iconic Adelaide Oval. Witness the pinnacle of international rugby when the best of England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland join forces to take on a combined Australia and New Zealand juggernaut. One tour, one chance. Don't miss out. Secure your tickets now at Ticketek.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticketek.
Rowie and Timmy G, the 5AA Sports Show.
12 minutes to 5. Jimmy Bartell's going to join us on the show at 5 o'clock. We'll keep taking your calls on tragedy to triumph sporting stories. 8223 0000. Before we get to them, though, some news.
Hot off the press.
Wow. What's
the
going on here?
Adelaide Crows have been slapped with a financial sanction.
Hey?
Crows stars Ben Keys and Josh Rochelle have also been penalised for repeatedly ignoring the AFL's warnings to not wear metal studs in their boots during games. So Adelaide's been fined as a club $7,500, Keys $5,000, Rochelle $2,500, all been sanctioned individually because they've continued to do this despite the multiple warnings from the league recently. So start of June, the AFL said no more metal studs.
Yep.
Keys has copped a heftier fine because he's been caught wearing metal studs 4 times since, the police explained. Rochelle twice wearing illegal boots more than twice. So there's an interesting storyline.
Well, I would be asking why they're doing it, and I would say it's because they don't make... the old screw-ins back in the old days that we used to wear. So they're going, well, I can only wear a moulded sole boot. I'm losing my footing. I don't want to lose my footing anymore.
Yeah, well, I think they do, though, Timmy, because I reckon the rugby boys have got them, but they've got metal studs in it. So we used to have the nylon. Which is probably fair enough, because once they burr, that's how you can get cut open pretty badly.
I've still got some scars.
Yeah, correct. Oh, the same.
One right in your lip here.
Yeah, or on your shins and everything. And I think that's why. But I think you can still buy them, but they're not easy to get. You remember the old World Cups that we used to get? They were beautiful boots.
Yeah.
Well, they still make the old Copas. You and I still do.
Fantastic.
But
you can get them
that's interesting, though, because...
I've obviously caught them a couple of times.
Yeah. So there's...
Well, they must have been looking out for them on the TV or whatever.
And remember, Toby Green came out only just last week about the SCG situation and said, well, I wore them. And I think there's been some investigating since on a few fronts. It says, the league also says, later wrote to clubs saying exposed metal studs have the potential to cause injury and have no place across any level of the game, reminding players the penalties for breaches could skyrocket to as much as $40,000. So they are serious about this.
Well, make a boot that suits the conditions. We got to get a boot that they can wear when it's soft underfoot. We don't have one, and this is why they're probably doing it. So fix the problem.
Or is it the boot or is it the surface?
Well, surfaces are going to get soft in this weather, aren't they?
Yeah.
Surfaces also couldn't be much better than they've ever been.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I think the grounds that they play on now are like,
But you would have done the old story when you rocked up. I used to talk to the boot stutter, Alf Trebilco's been ours for over 50 years, same bloke. And I used to say, what do you reckon today, Alfie? And he used to say, listen, I reckon start with screw-ins. If you're uncomfortable with that, I'll bring you mouldeds out. He'd always pick it right. And I'd go, no, you're right, Alfie, I'm staying with these,
Dennis Pagan used to do the same thing. He used to walk around, because we could wear them, and Dennis Pagan used to walk around in the in the pre-game. You wouldn't want to slip over, son.
Yeah, there's a warning. There's a warning. I love it. All right, let's go to Morphevale. G'day, Ken.
G'day, boys. Yeah, that's interesting news about the studs. I was at the game on Saturday, and a couple of our blokes, and Melbourne's, saw them slip over. But anyway, that's not what I rang about. I originally rang about the rest of the season, but before that, my tragedy to triumph was one I thought of while I've been waiting to talk to you guys was Damien Oliver. When he lost his brother Jason a day or two before the Melbourne Cup, and he went on to win the Melbourne Cup on a horse called
Media Puzzle.
Media Puzzle, that's right, back in about 2000.
And they made the movie about it, didn't they, Ken? Called The Cup, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great
get, mate.
That was not what I originally rang about. What I wanted to talk about was just digressing slightly. At the beginning of the year, and I've never done this before, at the beginning of the year I backed the Crows to finish in the 8.
Okay.
I backed them to finish in the 4.
Ooh.
And then I got silly and backed them to play in the grand final and eventually to win the grand final.
So
but
all separate
so
bets?
if I finish in the 8, I'll finish in front anyway. But so I sat down. I sat down the other night and tried to work out the rest of the season on who should win what game and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And I've got down to the fact that, first of all, if the Crows don't beat Hawthorn and Collingwood at home, because I don't think they'll beat the Bulldogs next week. Based on, as I said, I was at the game on Saturday and I wasn't impressed with the way the Crows were going. But then I suddenly realised that Suns and Essendon are still one game behind the rest of us. So when is that game going to be played? Because that game, Suns have a chance of making the 8.
Round 24.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they meet in round 24.
Yep. So Suns and Essendon will play 2 games in the final round just to make up the one they missed in opening round.
So they'll probably, you know how they have that week off, Ken? They'll probably play it midweek, the following week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I tried to find out on my Google what was happening, but
so we won't know till the very end, is what you're saying, and I think you're right.
And round 24 is yet to have a fixture put out, so that'll be fascinating whether they open the round with the Essendon and Gold Coast games, and then they play them right at the back end on a Tuesday or something, just to
You've
give
them
at
least 6 days. Come on.
Yeah.
Geez, it's fraught with danger, though, isn't it? When everyone else is having a spell, when you've got to play 2 games
Friday night.
Like particularly for the Suns. I mean, it's a dead rubber for Essendon. They're clearly not going to get in there. But geez, you wouldn't want to.
Massive.
You wouldn't want to lose someone leading into hopefully their first finals campaign.
Could be an advantage.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be the other way. Glass half full. Timmy, like it.
Hey, blue sky. Let's go to Clare Valley. G'day, Rick.
Well, I'm sitting in the car for an hour. The rain's that hard, I can't get out the car.
Wow.
So I thought I might as well contribute to the show.
Oh, good man, Rick. Thank you.
First of all, I got a message for Rowie. You big snoozer, stop having a sickie and get back to work. And what I've got now is 2 inspiring stories, one international, one local.
Oh, yeah.
The international one, you guys will know this, probably 30 years ago, he was a Marine. He did marathons. He had a little 5-year-old son, and he pushed him in a pusher.
Yes.
Then as the son got bigger and the father got older, I think by the time he did his last marathon, the little 5-year-old was about 20.
Yeah.
And Dad was getting old. Do you ever remember that?
I do. I remember seeing that. They had footage of it and everything.
He always finished last, but then there was just 1 year. Oh, the marathon's on. How did that guy, the Marine, go? And then you went, well, he didn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then the best one, the one I know, the local one was the 73 grand final.
Yep.
You had Rexy Voigt incredibly kicked, I think, 6 or 7 goals. A 19-year-old Peter Carey, who was a wonderful player as a centre-half forward, he kicked 5 or 6 goals.
Yeah.
And this inspired Graham Corns to kick 1.
Very well done, Rick. And you know what? Time spent in the car there with the rain. Very well spent.
Yes.
Well played, mate.
Staying safe on the road as well. And if you have any road weather alerts around Adelaide, please call in or text us 0448 08 1395. We'll try and get everyone home safely. It is some wild conditions out there at the moment with this cold front. 3 minutes to 5. Jimmy Bartell next.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Hi, Brett Ebert here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. They'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. And your breakfast or lunch is on them. Your car gets the love too with their state-of-the-art service centre, brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, they'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Calling it. This is the year. Big Christmas bonus.
You said that last year. You got a mug and a meat tray raffle ticket.
Get a real bonus with Sip and Save. Buy any participating Coopers 24-pack and receive a token. Collect 3 tokens to claim your bonus Coopers Ugly Christmas Jumper. Coopers Pale Ale 24-pack only $58.99 or Coopers Mild Ale 24-pack just $49.99. You can expect more from Sip and Save. More deals, more range, more service. Prices may vary in country areas while stocks last. T's and C's apply. See website for details.
Sip and Save.
There's more in store.
Luxury doesn't have to break the bank. At Austrac Campers, we provide modern amenities, rugged durability, and all at an affordable price. Comfort, even in the most remote of places.
Austrac Campers.
Unlock your next getaway with a chance to win one of 2 Crusader caravans, plus 50k in vouchers to be won nationally. Buy the advertiser, find today's code word and enter at wimwithnews.com.au. T's and C's apply. T25/904.
Of all the billions of stars sparkling across the galaxy, 8 adorn the Energy Star rating of Aldi's 8-kilogram heat pump clothes dryer for $499. With 15 drying programs and a UV sterilizing function. It's special you can buy at the laundry wash sale this Saturday. Aldi. Good different.
Are you or someone you know living with epilepsy? 1 in 25 Australians will develop epilepsy at some stage in their lives. The Epilepsy Centre in Adelaide is dedicated to raising awareness in the community to reduce the stigma and create a more welcoming and inclusive society. We do this by providing epilepsy awareness and seizure first aid to people living with epilepsy, their families and friends. Thanks to state government funding, we can offer this education at no cost. For more information, go to epilepsycentre.org.au.
Build like a brick house. Basic Trailers make quality trailers of all sizes here in Adelaide. Made with Australian steel, you get 12 months warranty and factory direct pricing across SA. Visit basictrailers.com.au. Basic Trailers. Basically better.
The Lions are coming. Witness the best of international rugby when the North combine to take on the South at Adelaide Oval. The Lions versus the Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. Tickets at Ticketek.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain tonight and showers tomorrow, a high of 15. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig. Strong winds and heavy rain have lashed test A again today. Big seas have pummeled the west coast, including Streaky Bay and Ceduna, with a severe weather warning and a marine wind warning issued. Here in Adelaide, we've had our coldest day since 2021, reaching just 10 degrees, and our wettest in 18 months. But Morgan Pumper from the Bureau says conditions will ease tomorrow.
It will calm down, but we've still got some showers into tomorrow and Friday. I do think they're going to clear up for Saturday and not too much expected on Sunday as well. So a bit of hit and miss with some of those showers coming up. It's mostly this stronger cold front coming through today, but it's just those southwesterly onshore airflow bringing that chance of the showers over the upcoming days.
Pharmaceutical exports to the US may be at risk as Donald Trump threatens a 200% tariff. Michael Packey reports.
Australia sells about $2 billion in pharmaceutical products to the United States each year. Now, President Trump has signalled a big penalty for the imports, but argues manufacturers can avoid the 200% tariff if they move their facilities to the US.
We're going to give people about a year and a half to come in, and after that they're going to be tariffed.
Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers says the government is seeking details on the proposal.
We will work through this in the usual methodical way to understand any potential impacts.
The opposition argues the Prime Minister must do more to press Australia's case against the tariffs.
Childhood educators are sounding the alarm about widespread understaffing at centres around the country. A survey from the United Workers Union shows nearly 80% are operating below minimum staffing levels on a weekly basis. Early Education Director Carolyn Smith says it's leaving children without adequate supervision, which is putting safety at risk.
When staffing levels aren't met, children are in a situation where they don't have that all-important bond with the educator. The educator is rushing, can't spend that time with the child.
Qantas says it's doing everything possible to contact those affected by a cybersecurity breach as the exact extent of the incident becomes clearer. The airline has now confirmed details of 5.7 million people were stored in the system which was accessed, but no financial or passport information has been compromised. Qantas boss Vanessa Hudson is apologising to those affected.
We have already made changes to our systems to uplift the controls around our call centres, but also across other systems. And we will, through that investigation, there will be learnings, and we will and take the actions needed to uplift our systems.
The death toll continues to rise in Texas following flash flooding as authorities continue to search for survivors. At least 110 people have been killed, including children. Over 160 are still missing. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Collect the latest Pokemon packs and single cards at Sports Card World, Regent Arcade, Rundle Mall.
Michael Voss is calling out the dark side of football after a death threat was directed at the Carlton coach. More from Eddie Summerfield.
Michael Voss was resolute, calling out a death threat.
It's quite toxic, and we think by showing passion is about anger.
The Blues coach initially dismissive of the threat before he thought of the team and loved ones.
The first thing you always think about is the person beside you or family member or the team.
The message sent to the MCG's anti-social hotline after Carlton's loss to Collingwood. Authorities aren't treating it as a credible death threat as the AFL's integrity unit investigates.
I'm sorry, you don't belong here.
Premiership teammates turned opposing coaches Craig McRae and Brad Scott also calling out the behaviour.
People are able to just throw stones from afar. Ideally, we tidy it up.
Credible or not, it's criminal. There should be criminal consequences.
Extra security measures for Voss and any Carlton staff are being considered for tomorrow night's game against Brisbane at Marvel Stadium.
In other sport, Carlos Alcaraz has reached the Wimbledon semi-finals for the third year in a row, beating Cam Norrie in straight sets overnight. He'll next face the in-form American Taylor Fritz for a spot in the final. And it's the State of Origin decider in Sydney tonight. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Heavy showers rolling through this afternoon. Take it easy on the drive home. And with that flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road. We are slow at O'Halloran Hill due to the weather and roadworks. Southern Expressway near Majors Road and getting busy at Queenstown for works on Port Road 2. Cameras, Coventry Road, Monopara and Kings Road, Paralawi. The IKEA sale is now on. Enjoy up to 60% off hundreds of products until the 21st of July. Better head to ikea.com.au before everyone finds out. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Rain tonight and showers tomorrow, a high of 15. Showers on Friday, 16. Sunny on Saturday, 18. Then a shower or two developing on Sunday, 17. At the moment, 10. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Brenton Raglas. Tonight, a woman accused of drink driving with a young child in the car on the wrong side of a major Adelaide road. The exclusive vision that will shock you. 200 local childcare centres failing to meet standards. So what's being done? Free footy tickets for drought-affected families. And advice for victims of Qantas's hack. 9 News. Your news. Live at 6 on 9 and on 9 now.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA. The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie.
I am flabbergasted.
And Timmy G.
Absolute sports festival. 6 after 5, Campo here for Rowie on a Wednesday evening. Still to come, where are they now? With a 3-time premiership Port player in 88, 89 and 90. Cast your minds. We'll get to him at 5:30. We'll cross to Game 3, the decider of State of Origin in Sydney a little later, and Thunderbird star Matilda Garrett. And plus, 5AA locker room tickets, a double to give away to the West Coast game on Sunday. If you want to head along, stay listening. The comp is coming up, and your calls, 8223 0000. Those tragedy to triumph sporting stories. But right now, thanks to Statesman Windows, Adelaide's most trusted boutique window company, SA family owned and operated since 1980.
Bartel check signs it brilliantly.
He can do it all, James Bartel.
Here's my brother, man.
Jimmy Bartel on the 5AA Sports Show.
Yeah, Camp, I love Wednesdays. Get excited because I know that we've got Jimmy Bartel on and we're going to welcome him now thanks to Statesman Windows. G'day, Jimmy.
How are you guys?
Not too bad. Now, we're down a man. He's got the man flu. poor old Rowie. So Campo stepped in. He's on the hat trick now of shows. So he's going right.
Couple of tins of cement for Rowie.
Like that. Hey, just when you think the AFL, might be working on some of the serious issues that we've got happening in the game, they come out and just perhaps air an idea about a mid-season tournament. Now, I know there was some people saying that, the NBA do it. We don't have to do everything they do. But what did you think of the concept and the idea?
Immediately, I love big ideas and I like throwing them up, and that's just the way I'm wired. So, firstly, I appreciate it, a big idea being thrown up. It probably needs a bit more work, and it should be a long way down the track. And you started to touch on it. There's some bigger issues in our game that we need to address first. So when I did hear it, I thought, is this the classic AFL? You just pull something out to distract everyone. Ooh, look over here.
Yeah.
And that's normally the grand final time or grand final entertainment or something silly like that just get people talking about other things than the actual issues going on in the game. But when you dig down on it, it seems like they've put a fair bit of work into it. I'm not a fan of it just yet. I know the plan is when Tassie comes in, then you play everyone once. I think that should be just the first initial plan. So just do things in stages, and everyone will say, well, we don't get the right amount of content, but you could make the argument that you're actually making better content. So you actually increase the value even though you're doing less. So that's what happens in NFL football. So if you know that you're only going to see once a year, let's say the Crows play Collingwood, you're going to make sure you're going to get to that game, aren't you? You're not going to watch them on the return match or even that's at home on TV. So you can actually create some value that way. The whole idea of, we'll offer up a final spot, wouldn't hypothetically the best teams win it anyway? So you're actually, what do you do then? And then if you're going to say, it's $5 million for a winner, that might be good for teams. I know this sounds funny. Money doesn't matter because the AFL distributes all the money anyway.
Correct.
They're not going to let you go broke enough to lose your licence.
Yeah. And that's...
you can't put that into a salary cap because then you've got salary cap implications.
I thought it was an attempt that, we know that the fixture doesn't sit well every year because of the remaining games after playing everybody once. So this would look like an attempt to fix that with a side agenda.
Yeah, and this whole, there's meaningless games and things like that. I don't like making ideas off the exception. So, this year we've got a 2-game gap between 9th and 10th. All right, that happens. I get that. But if you go back to last year, about this time last year, we were talking about one of the hottest races for the final 8. Down to 14th, I think it might have been Melbourne, had 11 wins.
Yeah.
If you go back 2 years ago, 13th had 11 wins. You go back 3 years ago, I think 13th again had 11 wins. So it's pretty much technically had 13 and 14 teams over the last 3 years still alive. It's just the fact that at the moment, this season is an outlier. And forever and a day, there's been good games and bad games of footy. But if you go back to the 80s and 90s, we never used to watch them all because you'd only see match of the round.
That was correct, the big replay. Now, rules is one of the things that perhaps that maybe should be looking at, and the umpiring has got a fair bit of focus. We had Dean Margetts on last night, and he actually sent a photo of Scott Camporeale actually abusing him. Now, I'm pretty sure in your time you would have abused him as well.
Yeah, definitely.
He was unreal, but I'll just play some audio for you, Jimmy. He just made 3 really good points, I thought.
It takes a fair bit for me to be critical of our brethren, but I've seen our bouncing probably the worst it's been for a long time, where lots of balls are going left and right and not creating contests, and it just takes out of it. And no one really cares watching, I don't think. My view is if we want consistency, let's apply the same rule as we do in AFLW. Between the arcs, it's last disposal, where I mean by clear hand or foot, and if there's any doubt, we still throw it out. I think most people would accept that, and the game can move on in a real positive way. My view is I still think the 3-umpire system was the right fit for our game from a competition point of view, from a running capacity point of view.
I didn't like to say it, but he sounded like he was making sense, yeah.
No, after we finish booing them and things like that, and you actually get them away from their whistle, a lot of the umpires are actually pretty good to talk to about the game, and they make a lot of good points, which is why they probably should be consulted a lot more than they have as far as when we do bring in new rules, because they're the ones who've got to adjudicate. Not saying they're the be-all and end-all, but it should be part of the process at some stage. with the last touch out of bounds, and I think I've said this to you guys so many times, is someone stand in front of a microphone, and now we've got some pretty experienced guys who are not afraid of one, and just bring us along for the ride. So clearly you're getting us there, but you won't tell us, because if you watch now, anytime someone kicks off the ground, we're just paying insufficient intent. But they actually haven't told us that. So, bring us along for the ride. Even now, if someone is in the process of kicking the football and you sort of tackle or put pressure on them, we're paying down the ground or a free kick. But we just find out because there's another whistle. We're going, what's that for? So just bring us along with the process a bit more, and you probably don't have the angst with fans, supporters and clubs and players.
Yeah, well, we did ask Dean, Jimmy, around, has anyone from the AFL contacted? He goes, I'm still waiting for a phone call. So he's open to the conversation from the AFL. Let's talk about this week's game. The Crows were tested by Melbourne, and they won in a different way, which is good for them, I guess, leading into a final series. And if you look at the top 8 teams, there could be a bit of movement after this week's game, Jimmy. All but Brisbane play Carlton and Hawthorn play Freo, but that's got a little bit of on the end of it as well.
Yeah, and I actually liked a bit of Fox footy over the weekend, and I really liked the package they put together. They called it Big Boy Month, and I actually really liked that. And it is the month where you're trying to start to bed down your best sides. I know there's still some injuries and things like that, but you're really trying to start to hit a groove. And when we see the premiers at the end of the year, we tend to look back and go, you know what, the last 10 weeks, they were 9-1, or they were 8-2, and they really started to build some momentum. You're right on the Crows. It was good that they were able to adjust. Probably their ball use from a bit of pressure through the midfield, and that's why Turner and May were very good against the Crows. They were able to intercept the footy. But this is what I'm liking from the Crows. There's a bit more maturity about them, a bit more, I guess, call it grit under the hood than we've probably in previous years. And we know Dawson tries to lift, but the fact that, all right, well, the big boys aren't quite getting it done today. Who is? And they were brave enough to stick Rankin forward, even with Rochelle going down, because normally, the luxury they've had is you keep one of them forward, one can get some midfield minutes, and you get the best of both worlds. But they're brave enough to keep sending Rankin forward and find another way to win.
Well, and the counterparts down the road, Port were pretty valiant against Brisbane, lost 3 season-ending injuries now, as you know. And they were undermanned, but, geez, other than a sort of 7-goal blitz in that first quarter, Port were pretty admirable. Yeah, they were, but, again, I'm a little bit disappointed with that 7-goal blitz. I know Brisbane can do that, but I think Port are better than that as well, Campo. That's always just been a bit of my concern with Port Adelaide is, when the game is not on your terms, how hard are you really trying to halt the momentum? You don't have to turn it back your own way, and good sides, and what Port Adelaide have been for a number of years, has been when the opposition is rolling, they still just haven't given up big scores. But, this year, when the opposition has got the momentum, they've scored heavily against Port Adelaide.
Hey, Jimmy, we saw Caro's story about AFLW losing $50 million. I was going to ask you the question. It costs $100 million to put on. It lost 50. Will that gap close over time, or will it widen when they try to play each other once? And what's the right solution with this?
Well, it's probably one that needs a big, longer, in-depth answer, but I hope it doesn't widen, and I hope for the sake of the game and things like that, it closes and it becomes incredibly viable and successful. I think you got to have a look at one of the reasons or the positives for AFLW or what sort of tool it is for the game. It's to increase participants and eyeballs, and people will go, well, it doesn't have many, but it's actually got a lot of new ones, and that's the important thing that the AFL is chasing at the moment. So if the AFL keeps wanting to get bigger and better broadcasting deals, and conversations I've had with people who are involved in this game is just hypothetically, if the AFL's got 1 million participants, broadcasters want to know if they're going to sign a 5, 6, 7-year deal for $2-3 billion. They want to know how do you get that 1 million participants to 2 million by the end of the deal, because it's an investment as well in people. Because more people watching, more people playing, or around the fringes means that content is getting exposed to more eyeballs, and that's what AFLW is trying to do. At the moment, as far as economically, I'm not talking about the game, it's a bit of a loss leader at the moment, but they've been able to attract certain corporate sponsors, but there's still a fair way to go. But you've also got to put it in the right light. You've got to dedicate the right resources to it if you're serious about it. Like playing games Tuesday at 5 o'clock at Frankston, it's not doing the game
any good,
any service. I think they maybe need to just reconsider sometimes their strong stance of playing games on the same day and same venue as the men. I think at first they wanted to be, no, we want to stand on our own 2 feet. But I think there's good opportunities for clubs across the men's and women's game to have back-to-back games. So maybe explore those time slots. It's all about exposure, isn't it?
Well, Jimmy, you could go the other way. If you're playing devil's advocate, you're talking about eyeballs. I would suggest that there's less eyeballs at the moment because the quality of the games, people are not watching them as much.
Yeah, and that's 100% right. Like, I'm not disagreeing with that at all, and that's what they've got to improve. I'm just saying from the point of view what the AFL is trying to chase, and that's why they wanted a team in Western Sydney. It's why they wanted a market in Gold Coast. You look at rugby league. That's why they're pushing Perth, PNG, and they do the Las Vegas adventure. So, like, at a certain point, you've got your captured market. So you've already got your 1 million people they're talking about. But how do we get from 1 million to 1.5 to 2? So that was the only thing that I was referencing. But then how do you get those people who were there watching at the start? Because the 70% drop-off number is alarming.
Yeah.
And you have to address that.
Well, and I guess the other thing too, I look at it from because I was involved in the coaching, Jimmy, as well. So $50 million, perhaps you get more eyeballs and the game gets better if you invest some of that money back into the soft cap, which we know that the clubs have been hamstrung since COVID.
Yeah, and I think you've got to look at the season timing as well, because you can invest that back in the soft cap, but you can do it smarter. So you can, I know that the men's program is, as you know, Campo, it's 11 months of the year. But, like, can we get some shared services? So, like, that means, say if an AFL, the men's program is running with 2 physios, well, can we get, like, 3 physios, but then they work year-round and they're doing the men's and women's program, sharing coaches, strength and conditioning staff, all that sort of stuff. So the actual cost is reduced because you're sharing some of the services, but then you've got them all, sort of under the one roof. There's a bit of overlap. There's a bit of similarity. There's fixturing. You can get pretty savvy with that sort of stuff.
Hey, we saw the departure of Chad Corns at the end of this season, but they have to tell all assistant coaches and the like by August 1st, so they've given him that notice. Is this part of what Josh Carr is about to set up, and do you expect more? What should he be doing right now, Josh?
Yeah, like it'd be difficult for Chad, and we know he's got a big brain in footy. You can only see the way he played the game. Like, he centre-half back, centre-half forward, could play as an enormous midfielder, sees the game, speaks very well every time I've heard him on radio and TV. So it'd be up to him whether he wants to leave Adelaide, because clearly, more opportunities, in Victoria or elsewhere for him. So that's a decision for him. But I think you get to a certain point as a coach, well, does Josh already know in his mind, well, this is what he'd be thinking, do I already know all of Chad's IP? And how do I refresh the group? Because I reckon you've always got to be careful if you're setting up your footy club, and clubs will be considering this, whether it be Michael Voss or Simon Goodwin. If the players are all lined up back day one, you've got all the exact same crew, especially after a pretty average season. You don't want the players going, oh, we're rolling out this stuff again, are we? So you've got to keep refreshing the group. You've got to keep refreshing the ideas as well in a footy club. And it's a brutal business. Like, I feel for Chad and all the other coaches who are going to get tapped on the shoulder in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, Jimmy. I really appreciate your time, buddy.
Anytime, guys.
Speak next week. That is Jimmy Bartell. Thanks to Statesman Windows, Adelaide's boutique window company, trusted by the best builders in Adelaide. They are elite performers, consistently delivering at the highest level. Need the best windows? See Statesman Windows.
'Cause I'm Timmy G.
All right, your chance to get along to the big game on Sunday, Port Adelaide and West Coast Adelaide Oval. FIVEAA locker room double to give away. So call in now if you want to play the quiz. 8223 0055 is the number. Let's check your roads around Adelaide.
Afternoon, some big showers rolling through the Savo. Take it easy on the drive home. And with that, flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road. Slow for works at Prospect, Churchill Road near Clifton Street. And due to the weather and the roadworks, she's pretty sluggish at the moment on O'Halloran Hill, the expressway near Majors Road. Cameras Kings Road, Paralawi and Ryde Street to Gawler West. The MS Cash for a Cause lottery is closing soon. This is your chance to turn $10 into $100,000. Search MS Cash for a Cause now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
5AA is inviting you into the studio every afternoon. Head to the 5AA live stream.
Live life your way with personalised disability support and aged care services. Visit completecare.com.au today.
Calling it. This is the year. Big Christmas bonus.
You said that last year. You got a mug and a meat tray raffle ticket.
Get a real bonus with Sip and Save. Buy any participating Coopers 24-pack and receive a token. Collect 3 tokens to claim your bonus Coopers Ugly Christmas Jumper. Coopers Pale Ale 24-pack only $58.99 or Coopers Mild Ale 24-pack just $49.99. You can expect more from Sip and Save. More deals, more range, more service. Prices may vary in country areas while stocks last. T's and C's apply. See website for details.
Sip and Save.
There's more in store.
Adelaide, can you hear the roar? The British and Irish Lions are coming in a one-night-only event this July. 6 nations will clash in the heart of Adelaide at the iconic Adelaide Oval. Witness the pinnacle of international rugby when the best of England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland join forces to take on a combined Australia and New Zealand juggernaut. One tour, one chance. Don't miss out. Secure your tickets now at Ticketek.
If you're looking for something new for your bedroom or just need a better night's sleep, then head to your nearest Dreamland bedding specialist store. Dreamland has the biggest and best Aussie-made mattress brands, all backed with the best bedding service and advice. If it's a quality mattress ensemble, electric adjustable bed, bed frame, bedroom suite, bedroom furniture or Manchester, then come to Dreamland. There's a huge range to choose from. With 5 locally owned and operated stores across Adelaide, if anyone says they can beat Dreamland, they're dreaming.
Dreamland. Harris Scarf Big Stock Take Sale is on now. Save 40 to 60% off cookware and kitchenware, 40 to 60% off air fryers by Smith & Noble, plus 40 to 70% off vacuums. Sale ends soon. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
They said launching a ute in Australia was an uphill battle. And the new Kia Tasman wouldn't have it any other way. With 4x4 tech built for tough terrain, it's Kia's most Australian vehicle yet, featuring low-range gearing, ground view monitors and auto rear locking differential in select models. The Kia Tasman didn't reinvent the wheel, it just got dirty. The Kia Tasman, here now at your local Kia dealer.
Kia, movement that inspires.
There's one word that should be deleted forever. It transcends language, culture, geography, status, and it doesn't discriminate. That word is cancer, and until we can delete it, we're going to treat it. Lift Cancer Care is dedicated to offering additional cancer services to complement your existing treatment plan. We collaborate closely with your medical team to achieve the best outcomes for your diagnosis. So, if you or a loved one are ever struck with the C word, think of the L word first. liftcancercare.com.au.
Here's another tyre safety message from Tyre Power. It's important to regularly check your tyres for wear and tear. If in doubt, give the experts at Tyre Power a shout. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local independent owner.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticketek.
Rowie and Timmy G, the 5AA Sports Show.
It's 26 minutes after 5. Let's get you off to the 5AA locker room.
Timmy G.
Alrighty, 2 tickets to the locker room. Port v West Coast, Sunday the 13th of July. You get that reserve seating, pre-game dinner box, halftime Balfours, continuous 5-hour beverage package. It's well worth winning. 6 callers will be queued up. It's nearest the pin without going over. And if nobody gets it, we go all over again. Let's see how we go. Julian, the question...
Hello, how are you going?
All right, buddy. The question is... Our guest about to come on. Oh, David Hines, who played for Port Adelaide in the SNFL from 1985 to 1990. How many league games did he play for Port Adelaide?
Ooh, we'll just go again. 150.
150. Thank you, Julian. Let's go to Ben. How many games did...
G'day, Timmy.
How many games did David Irons play for Port Adelaide?
I would say 121.
121, Ben. Thank you, Josh.
No, 210.
210. Thank you, Josh. Let's go to Angelo.
120.
120. Scotty.
180.
180. And Joe.
105.
105. Okay, the number is Ben. 121 on the
Oh, you beauty.
Congratulations, mate. You are going to the locker room. Have you been before the 5AA locker room?
No, I haven't, no.
Oh, this is exciting stuff, mate. You will absolutely love it. You've got a one-way window where you can see the team warming up, playing. They can't see you, so make as many faces as you like. But you'll have a ball down there, mate. Enjoy.
Awesome. Thanks, Timmy.
Congratulations. Well done to Ben on that one. There you go. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, another chance to win tomorrow.
Oh, well, exactly. This is fantastic. This is why we keep doing it. We did have a text come in from Jan. She was just a little confused. Is it Tuggers or Campo on with me today? No, you're both on.
We're both here.
Sorry, Jan, they are both on. Tuggers always hosting a course and Campo helping me out with all the questions and all the interviews as we speak. So thank you very much to you, Campo, for doing that.
All right, we will have a quick stop down for the 5:30 headlines. David Hines, who was the centre of that question, is our Where Are They Now? He'll join us for Walco next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
Staff members have been sacked and conditions have been placed on the operation of a northeastern suburbs childcare centre after revelations of inappropriate discipline.
Joining us on the line now is Ben Gramola, Education Standards Board CEO.
I just want to ensure the community that this has no linkages to what's been occurring in Victoria and is not on the same malicious intent.
Weekday mornings from 6 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
At Holistic Care SA, we're focused on capacity building, not just care. We help people with disability gain the support, skills and confidence for independent living. Whether it's creating a resume, catching a bus to the footy, or learning to cook independently in your home or in one of ours, Holistic Care SA makes those milestones happen. For a friendly chat about supported independent living, visit holisticcaresa.com.au. Because everyone deserves the chance to become who they're meant to be.
Ray White, big name in real estate, but also the biggest name in business broking. What makes us big? Our people, like Brett Buckley and his team. MBA, lecturer, and multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year. Brett doesn't just read a P&L, he feels it. If you're selling or expanding your business, Brett can take your business apart and find you more money. And we're not talking small change. Go on. Touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, I'm Kendall Brettig. We've shivered through our coldest day in Adelaide since 2021 and our wettest in 18 months. The opposition says it's embarrassing the Prime Minister's failed to secure a face-to-face meeting with Donald Trump as the US considers further tariffs. A preliminary report into this year's Avalon Airshow crash has found the pilot may have started a tricky manoeuvre too close to the ground. And the AFL has fined the Adelaide Crows because two players, Josh Rochelle and Ben Keys, had metal stops in their boots, which are prohibited for safety reasons. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Heavy showers rolling through this afternoon for the drive home, so do take it easy. And with that flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road, slow for works at Prospect, Churchill Road near Clifton Street, and getting busy at Queenstown for works to Port Road near Weber Street. Cumbera Sasabo, Baxter Road, Salisbury North and Coventry Road at Manopara. Feel extra warm inside this winter. Buy the red tractor rolled oats 1.6 kilo special buy at Audi, and they'll donate the same to Food Bank. Started July 2. While stocks last, Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast: rain tonight and showers tomorrow, a high of 15. At the moment, 10. More news at 6 o'clock on 5AA, always Adelaide.
When it comes to flooring for your home or investment property, including plantation shutters and blinds, you've got the world at your feet at Floor World in Adelaide's north, east and west. Floor World keeps prices low on a huge range of flooring options, including wool and synthetic carpets, engineered timber flooring, laminate, hybrid and vinyl flooring, including some of the best Aussie and international brands at fantastic prices. Visit floorworld.com.au for a free in-home consult. Mention this ad for 15% off.
Leaky gutters? Well, don't call a tradie. Call on your inner DIY hero, Gutsa. Now, that's the name, Guttsa. Gutsa's clever gutter relining kit. It lets you fix the leaks yourself and fast. So there's no ripping out gutters and the like, and no sky-high bills. Just a smart, waterproof liner roll, and you just roll it inside your existing gutters, and it's for under $10 a metre. How good's that? It's like giving your gutters a second life without the drama and huge cost of replacing them.
Yeah, it's easy, Timmy, enough to do on a weekend. If you can handle a lawnmower, you can certainly install a Gutsa gutter liner. And the best part, it's backed by a rock-solid 10-year warranty. See how simple it is and easy to install on gutsa.com.au.
Yeah, get on and have a look, and as Adam, the owner, would say, nothing can be finer than a Gutsa gutter liner. Oh, there's a song. Take a look today. Visit gutsa.com.au. That's GUTTSA.com.au.
Snooze members save up to 40% off mattresses and up to 30% off bed frames. Hurry, the Snooze member event is on now. Exclusions, T's and C's apply.
It's amazing what a little snooze can do.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticketek.
Rowie and Timmy G, the 5AA Sports Show.
Welcome back at 27 minutes to 6. Very soon we'll cross to Game 3 of tonight's State of Origin decider in Sydney. It's a massive clash. We'll speak to AAP's Scott Bailey very shortly. Tickets to the Thunderbirds still to give away as well. Last game of the regular season, must win. And we'll chat to one of their stars, Matilda Garrett, very soon. And we'll take your calls, 8223 0000. But right now, all thanks to Walco, who are at the very centre of SA's biggest cover-up with their incredibly good-looking Walco mesh pool cover. It's time for
the 5AA Sports Shows. Where are they now? Past legends, past glories.
Yes, a man that played for the Port Adelaide Football Club between 85 and 90, 121 games there. He went to the West Coast between 91 and 95, then went to Fremantle for a couple of seasons, played at South Fremantle as well, premiership player there, won a Simpson medal, West Coast premiership player in 94, 3 flags with the Maggies, 88, 89, 90, Foss Williams medal for the state in 92, v Victoria. It's a pretty good little record, little resume, and an old teammate of mine, David Irons. G'day, Ironsie.
DG, how are you, mate?
I'm
you
all
must
right.
be getting very desperate for guests.
Yeah, no, that's a fair call.
All he does, Heinz, is get his past playing teammate so he can get pumped up on the radio.
Scotty, I was just going to say, I'm in the West, so I'm not up to speed with your guests, but has there been anyone else outside of the Port Adelaide Footy Club that's been on?
Oh, yeah. No, Rowie gets a couple on as well, a couple from Norwood, so yeah. No, it's always good fun. But see, we're playing...
We're going downhill now, aren't we? We're going downhill.
But we're playing the West Coast this week, so we thought, I got asked, we've got to get a pass.
I've got to ask you a question, Timmy.
Yeah?
Did you try and get a hold of my old mate, 28, Chris Lewis, by any chance?
Only 5-6 times.
Because I did get a little message from him the other day, something along the lines. But anyway, so I'm second best. That's okay.
No. I've tried him over the last 3 years, Heinz.
Good luck.
He keeps promising.
They work well.
He keeps promising. It's a classic. Now, let's go and tell everybody about your story. First of all, you came out of our EP zone, the Eyre Peninsula, and Woodner was your hometown. And tell us what it was like growing up as a country kid.
I was boring. That's why we did all mischievous things as young fellas over in the bush. But no, look, it was pretty good. Not a bad place to grow up. I think Greg Phillips and I were both born in the Woodner Hospital, so there's a couple of poor premiership players that come out of the Woodner production line. But not bad, but it was Port Adelaide in those days, and I do believe it's Norwood these days, Tim.
Yeah, correct. So in that particular zone, it would have been like a Bobby Clayton, something like that, coming over and getting you kids to come over and try out for juniors?
Bobby used to come over with his minties, yes. He did, and I always remember there was a Jack come over and ran a footy clinic there with Gary Window and Les Favell, who was obviously cricketer, but they used to do the rounds there in the day.
And you became a boarder at Ross Trevor when you finally made the decision to come to Port?
I did, mate, and I got out of there intact, so that was a blessing.
Did you learn anything?
I learned how to be quick on my feet. No, look, it was a pretty, it was a good time there. I mean, obviously you talk about I mentioned the boredom, I guess, being in the country. Great place to grow up in Woodner. You start to get around that 15-year mark and you get a bit itchy, so it was good to go to boarding school and, spread the wings a little.
And Heinzie, you obviously played all your junior footy with Port Adelaide and you were able to then, progress into senior footy. Played 3 flags there, 88, 89 and 90. You were drafted in 1988 and it was probably a little bit of a trend back then when you got drafted but then you stayed in the SANFL system. Take us back through that, why your decision was to stay.
Well, Scotty, I was trying to learn this song that Timmy was teaching me called Sorrow, and I just couldn't get it. It took me 3 years to get the chord progression right. So we had important things to sort out. But
fair enough.
No, mate. Look, it was you're right. I think Richard Champion and I were drafted at the same time and followed exactly the same path. His first year was 91, mine was 91. Listen, for me, I can't speak for him, but for me it was, I grew up being a Port Adelaide supporter and that was my, that was sort of my dream and goal. And while I was there, we obviously won that first premiership in 1988, which broke a fair drought for Port Adelaide terms. And so, I was really where I wanted to be quite honest. And then, we won 2 more premierships. So I certainly have no regrets. You can always look through another lens. I got dropped for the 92 team that was the first ever team out of Victoria to win in the AFL system. So if I was there a couple of years earlier, would I have been in maybe a better position to be a part of that? Who knows? There's pros and against, but certainly no regrets.
And what was the connection over that period of time? Obviously, they drafted you. Excuse me. What was the interaction between West Coast and Port Adelaide and yourself over that time?
Well, you know what? When I look back, it's really funny. Mick Moylan was the recruiting guy at the time, and I had a special manager. His name was Thomas John Hines, my old man. He was, he was no Jerry Maguire. Mick Moylan used to come over and he'd go to he'd be at the Port Adelaide Footy Club, and then he'd be on the beers, we were on the beers anyway. And then I lived with David Brown in Ethelston, and he'd quite often end up back at our house and. A lot of the boys would be saying, "Hey, this bloody old bloke, what's he doing here or whatever?" And it was quite weird. And then when I first come to, I come to the West, I didn't know anyone, and Mick was still, Mick Moylan was taking me under his wing a little bit. And I remember we went to the races one day. I ran into Chris Lewis for the first time. He come up and said, "G'day, how you going? Your name's Heinzie, eh? Righto, no worries. Well, I'm punting," and then he just took off. And I didn't see him again for the rest of the day. But I always remember that. And then Mick Moylan, well, who everybody knows at Port Adelaide, ended up with the Power after that. And then he just smoked on me, and it was like he never even knew me anymore. So once I got over it, I thought he was my friend, and then he wasn't anymore. So it was kind of weird.
Well, I'm glad you hung around because you played in 3 in a row, mate, 88, 89, 90. You got to go on a couple of great footy trips too, so don't forget those benefits as far as
Well, how could I, Tim?
your
No,
development?
I could never forget them. Yeah, and you were in very good form on all of them. So let's just leave that there.
Exactly right. But let's talk about those games and the way you were. Russell Johnson was our captain in '88. He gets rubbed out, and we go on a 5-game winning streak, which ends up culminating with a grand final. And you rucked by yourself. Now, for people that sort of think about ruckman these days, they're all over 200 and the like, and midfielders are 195 and all this sort of business. You're a 190 centimetre, 6'2" bloke that just jumped and jumped and jumped all day. Back in the days when you had to come off a 20-metre run-up. I mean, your athleticism and ability to leap and just keep at it. It seemed to me you always liked the challenge of the fight, didn't you? If you had this big challenge in front of you, you just seemed to thrive.
I think so, Timmy. I think that worked for me. Everybody's a bit different, I guess. For me, I think I did respond more to those challenges, and when Jono unfortunately went down there, that was an opportunity for me to, I guess, have a total crack at playing, a significant role in the team as the number one ruckman. And yeah, I have very, very fond memories of that '88 premiership because it was kind of I always remember that day, and I felt I didn't really feel nervous. I had some sort of nervousness in anticipation, but I didn't have that shitting myself type of feeling. It was kind of it was very hard to explain. It was a really good feeling, and that was always a good sense for me. And I think I'd probably over my career, fortunately, played reasonably good footy in the bigger games and the bigger moments, and I'm grateful for that. Mind you, I played a lot of terrible ones in home and away footy, so I guess it evens out.
Your state footy was pretty impressive as well. You mentioned that you won a Foss Williams medal, but you had a couple of historic moments against Victoria, and 93 winning on the G. That must have been a huge one.
It absolutely was. Yeah, it absolutely was. Yeah, it was wonderful to share those moments with our great mate Marty Leslie. And if he's listening in, I hope he's out of bed there over in Port Lincoln. He'd been down with the flu, the big fella, but. We loved those games. Like, honestly, apart from me missing the plane one time to get over there for training at one of the State of Origin games, which Cornsey wasn't too happy about. But, like the training, the slickness and the skills and just everything just went up a notch. And I do remember a game at a state game at Footy Park there where the ball was just zinging around. The pressure was just intense against Victoria. The ball hardly hit the ground, and if it did, it was there, zoomed on and gone. And it was like, I remember one stage, it probably was my first State of Origin game, just pinching myself going, wow, is this real? And it culminated in a ball just going up into the air, and Darren Jarman's just taken 2 steps, put his foot in somebody's chest. It wasn't a marking contest. Hit the ground like a cat, swiveled, and just snapped it from around the 50-metre arc, all in one sort of motion. And I was right there under that situation. I was going, oh my God, this is just the best seat in the house. So they were great games to be a part of.
Well, and I guess Timmy and I, we've all been lucky enough to represent our state, and it's one of the highlights of my career, no question about that. Heinzie, do you think there's still an opportunity where it comes up every year in the AFL, and do they bring it in, and how do they do it? Would you be an advocate to bring it back?
I'd be an absolute advocate, but I think the lens on it's very different now, isn't it? It's they don't really need those things to promote the game or what have you. It's it certainly is. It's never ever going to be like the State of Origin at rugby. That tradition that they've gone up. It's almost like we've lost it now. I'm not sure how you pull it back, but it I even enjoyed watching the All Stars Indigenous early in the year. They're just different sorts of games.
That was a cracking game.
Yeah, cracking game of footy. Just the way those fellas move the footy, and it's go, well, you don't sort of see that style of footy in a normal game. So I think and I ran for, I think the last one where Choco was coaching was at the MCG, and
I remember that.
I remember. Peter Burgoyne was on a half-back flank. I think he had about 30 possessions at half-time. It wasn't manning anyone up, but it was just scintillating footy, brilliant to watch that attacking footy. So I'd be all for it. But I'm not sure that's going to get too many more legs anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right, Heinzie. So you went to West Coast. You played 91. You debuted. Then you played in 3 final series, and then you were able to play in a premiership team in 94. Some great names, Hall of Famers in there. Who was the best player you played in that 94 season?
Oh, wow, yeah, out of the Eagles, yeah, you just spread a few of them together. Just depends on which lens you want to look at it through for, just pure brilliance. And, Peter Matera was just an outstanding player back then. Glenn Jacobs was just a Hulk back there, and Guy McKenna and Worsfold and those guys had an incredible back line. Peter Sumich was an incredible footballer. Chris Lewis was
Louis
an amazing
McKenna.
talent. There was Dean Kemp was just an incredible player till bloody the Roo got hold of him and hit him right down the middle over there many years ago. But look, there was I think there was champions, no doubt, but there was also an evenness around that team. But I do remember that you speak about that 93 State of Origin carnival that culminated at the MCG that beat the Vicks there. I remember Braddles at the time was just sitting down and just pegging me with questions about Peter Matera and how he trained and what he did. And, he being such a professional that Braddles was, he wanted to sort of know what was it, what did he do? He wanted to know everything about how he went about it. But if the truth to be known, he not that he was a bad trainer or anything like that, but Roo was the sort of guy in the gym that was never doing anything but bare minimum and always trained and played hard, but certainly didn't have any magics in his bag.
In his training. We're speaking with David Hines, West Coast and Port Adelaide triple premiership player. Heinzie, there's a unique homestyle food text here. We're interactive, and they said, are you going to ask Heinzie about the celebrations at Alberton that perhaps ended up in a paddy wagon? Now, I thought that was just a misunderstanding, David.
Well, it always is, mate. It always is a misunderstanding. And,
what a night!
And it's never ever, my fault or Listen, I mean, the only crazy thing about that particular situation is that Marnes jumped in there with me and locked up as well.
That's the true story.
You must have been listening before you came on air, Heinzie, because Timmy was just giving me the lowdown on some of that stuff.
Oh, classic. And it's such a true story. Wayne said, you can't do that. He's just won a premiership. And they said, be quiet. Or you'll end up there with him. And Marnes said, well, might as well go.
He's going, you're going, he was a voluntary. He was in there. Kero's brother David was in there, and my ex-missus at the time wanted to be in there, and thankfully they didn't let her in.
What a night, Heinz. It was always great fun, mate, and always great fun catching up. We didn't even get to talk about your 50th, which was a wild weekend. So, hey, mate, really appreciate your time.
Thanks very much, Timmy and Scotty. And, basically the 50th, just quickly, is that it went on way too long because of somebody's speech, and I'm not sure whose that was.
Once again, it comes back to you, Timmy.
Making it all about you.
I love it. That's David Hines. All from Walco. It's SA's biggest cover-up. They keep the leaves and the debris out all year round, and it's pulled super taut so it never sags, and it looks great. Ask Walco about their mesh pool cover.
10 minutes to 6. Here's your roads.
Heavy showers rolling through for the drive home. Another big dump in about 20 minutes, so look out for that. And with that, flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road. But touch wood, we're accident breakdown free tonight, which is great. Do have works, which is slow at Prospect, Churchill Road near Clifton Street. And the weather and roadworks are making it super slow at O'Halloran Hill, the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Camera, Kings Road, Paralawi. Set sail in style with Flight Centre's luxury cruise sail and save up to 40%. River cruises, ocean voyages and expedition journeys, all on sale until July 27. Book now at Flight Centre. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
You wake up and you're feeling a bit off. Your nose is runny, but maybe it's just a cold. That scratchy throat, though, that could be something worse.
Test for COVID, Flu A, Flu B and RSV in just minutes with Cell Life, the premium 4-in-1 rapid antigen test. Fast, reliable results. Make the smart choice for your health and your family. Insist on the brand the healthcare professionals prefer. Cell Life at leading chemists and Amazon. CELLIFE.
Calling it. This is the year. Big Christmas bonus.
You said that last year. You got a mug and a meat tray raffle ticket.
Get a real bonus with Sip and Save. Buy any participating Coopers 24-pack and receive a token. Collect 3 tokens to claim your bonus Coopers Ugly Christmas Jumper. Coopers Pale Ale 24-pack only $58.99 or Coopers Mild Ale 24-pack just $49.99. You can expect more from Sip and Save. More deals, more range, more service. Prices may vary in country areas while stocks last. T's and C's apply. See website for details.
Sip and Save.
There's more in store.
At Austrac Campers, we never stop innovating. We listen, learn and adapt, making sure our campers are always ready for what's next. Built for the future of Aussie adventures.
Austrac Campers.
If you need to move from A and B this winter, Timmy, your best move is hiring from Budget Car and Truck Rental.
Oh, absolutely it is. And to get started, this is how good they are. You can get the boxes from them, the tape, wrap it up and covers just to make sure all your furniture rocks up in a pristine condition. Budget has you sorted.
Yep. Then you'll need the perfect set of wheels, and Budget has them all. Cars big and small, moving vans and trucks available on a standard driver's licence, plus utes, hybrids, trailers, 12 to 25-seater buses and more.
Now, once you've chosen that vehicle, grab Budget's blankets, the trolley, the boxes, the tape, everything, and the move will go smooth.
Yeah, job done easy with Budget. A family-owned business with friendly staff you can count on and multiple locations across South Australia.
Got something big to budge? Well, budget with a Budget rental truck. Call 13 27 27.
G'day, it's Ben from BJ Energy. Lately I've had a lot of people asking about the federal battery rebate, what it is, how it works and whether they're eligible. At BJ Energy, we've done the homework. Our job is to help you make the most of the rebate while it's still around. So if you're thinking about solar or a home battery, or just have any questions about the federal battery rebate, it's easy to get in touch with us. No sales pitch, just straight answers. Visit bjenergy.com.au. That's bjenergy.com.au.
Of all the billions of stars sparkling across the galaxy, 8 adorn the Energy Star rating of Aldi's 8-kilogram heat pump clothes dryer for $499. With 15 drying programs and a UV sterilizing function. It's special you can buy at the laundry wash sale this Saturday. Aldi. Good different.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticketek.
Rowie and Timmy G. The 5AA Sports Show.
6 minutes to 6. Matilda Garrett from the Thunderbirds. Very important game coming up on the weekend for them. It is do or die. We'll speak to Tilly very shortly. Teams are in for Carlton and Brisbane Thursday night footy. This will be a big game at Marvel Stadium. Let's have a look. Carlton have got 2 changes. They have decided to drop Francis Evans and Blake Acres, which came out earlier this afternoon. Coming into the side, Corey Durden will play in the forward line and Alex Chincotta for the Blues. And for the Brisbane Lions, Sam Day out for personal reasons. In for the first time since round 9, Oscar McInerney returns. So they will welcome back their big ruckman.
There you go.
So they've gone 2 rucks, have they? They kept Darcy Ford
Fort's also in the team. He's starting on the ground as we look at the lineup, and McInerney's on the bench.
Wow. Well, they're probably going to trial it, see what it looks like. A lot of other teams, I mean, Freo have been doing it from that perspective.
Yeah. I think they'd probably like to get Oscar back and fit and playing full time. So see how that goes. On the back of Cam Munster, who's still going to play tonight's decider in the State of Origin, Queensland v New South Wales. We've sort of spoken about inspiring moments and perhaps taking tragedy into triumph. But we've got a few callers on the line. Para Hills, g'day, Peter.
Yeah, good evening, boys. Tim, you might be involved with this. Anthony Williams, when he passed away.
Yeah, very much so, Peter. There's actually the club did a little documentary on it, probably only about 10 minutes long, but they interviewed a fair few people on it, and I was one of them. But it was one of the, we talked about Phil Walsh last week. The Anthony Williams passing was just, wow, so overwhelming. It happened on a Friday. Stephen was in in the team, and Stephen, of course, doesn't play, and we play the very next day Nord Oval, and we haven't beaten them for a long time. And first half we weren't playing well. George came in, FIVEAA comes in to take Stephen's place, and just cements his place in the back pocket forever from that moment onwards. Just played an incredible game, but we were down at half time, and I remember Jack, I thought we'd get a bake, and he was just so calm. And he just said, "Hey, boys, you're just trying too hard. You're just trying too hard. Let it come." And he said, "Now, I'll tell you what the Williams family are doing." And he said, "They'll have a radio in every room. They'll be listening to the game." And, back in those days when you couldn't watch it live. Yeah. And he said, "And they'll just be wanting you to do well. So just relax with it and go out." And it was like, wow. Everything lifted, shoulders, and off we went into the second half, and we ran over the top of them, won the game, and then he said, "Well done." Everyone was pretty emotional afterwards, and then he just said, "Right, get in your cars, and we're just going to convoy down to the Williams home." That was wow, most emotional thing I've ever done.
That's incredible.
Well done. Let's go to Henley Beach. G'day, Grant.
Hey boys, look, I won't take too long. I know this is mainly a footy show, so I don't want to change sports too much.
No worries.
I want to give a shout out for. You're talking about rags to riches, like a person coming back from virtually nowhere. I employ people to look at that documentary called, I think it's called Mark Marquez All In. The bloke was thrown into orbit 3.5 years ago on a Repsol Honda. He had his arm so smashed up.
Oh.
It took 4 or 5 operations to straighten it up. On that documentary, the person he contacted was Mick Doohan.
Yeah.
Because you remember Mick
he's had plenty of injuries. Yeah.
He had his left
leg
broken so many times, had to adjust the bike because one leg was longer than the other one. What that guy went through, and now he was with Repsol Honda. He was, as a kid, he rode with Repsol Honda. He left Repsol Honda. Went to, I think, Grassini Ducati. Now he's on a factory Ducati. He's 84 points clear in the MotoGP Championship. One of the greatest comebacks ever.
And where can you catch the doco, Graham? Is it on any of the streaming services?
I think it's on Netflix. It might be on
I've got it here on Apple TV. You could get it on, or Prime Video.
Okay. If you see that, you see his peel his bandages off his right arm.
Oh.
It's just totally and utterly scarred.
Gee whiz, what's it called, the doco?
Mark Marquez All In. So Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV. There's a couple of places you can watch it. Graham, thank you for the suggestion.
Thanks for that, mate. I'm going to watch it.
Incredible story.
That's awesome.
We're going to take a break for the 6 o'clock news. Matilda Garrett from the Thunderbirds next, and we'll keep taking your calls as well. Join us, 8223 0000.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
With a Westpac home loan package, you'll save over $9,000 on interest in the first year alone that you can spend on whatever you like. I could finally get a parrot. Or maybe not. Either way, you can start saving today with a Westpac home loan package. Eligibility, credit criteria, T's and C's, fees, charges and $395 annual package fee apply. Based on a 400k Rocket Repay variable rate home loan standard package discount. Visit westpac.com.au/packages. Reach out to us today and let the savings begin.
Look at your hands. 5 digits, 14 joints, 27 bones, multiple tendons and nerves, but a lot can go wrong. If you're experiencing hand pain, it can drastically affect your lifestyle. If it's happening to you, get in touch with GRIP, a specialised hand and wrist practice with a team of highly qualified hand surgeons and therapists. From therapy to surgery, GRIP can help you get to the source of the pain and provide a solution. Visit gripsurgery.com.au.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Rain tonight and showers tomorrow, a high of 15. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig. The Albanese government maintains the Trump administration's making a big mistake, persisting with tariffs on various goods. The president's flagged a levy of 200% for pharmaceutical products sold to the US. Australia exports around $2 billion worth of medicines into the American market. Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers argues massive tariffs against any product will damage the economy.
This extra element of unpredictability comes at a very unwelcome time. There's already a lot of uncertainty in the global economy. We are better placed and better prepared to deal with that uncertainty, but we're not immune from it.
Early childhood educators are warning about a surge in safety incidents at childcare facilities if staffing levels fail to be met. A survey by the United Workers Union shows nearly 80% of centres are operating below minimum staffing levels at least once a week. Around 200 childcare centres across SA are currently failing to meet national quality standards. Qantas has issued an update as it continues to investigate a data breach. It's reassuring customers caught up in the hack their credit card information and passport details have not been accessed. The carrier says it's still monitoring the breach, which compromised more than 5.7 million data profiles, but will now make contact with those impacted. A report by the Ombudsman has found Australian telecommunications companies are increasingly failing to resolve customer complaints in a timely manner. Alex Nimmo reports.
The latest data shows there's been a 7% increase in complaints to the watchdog over the last 3 months. It marks the third quarter in a row where the Ombudsman has recorded rising levels of escalation. Telstra is taking an average of 9 days to resolve customer issues, 3 days longer than the industry average. The Ombudsman, Samantha York, says it's simply not up to standard.
Telcos need to do a lot more to address complaints satisfactorily in the first instance.
The Torrens to Darlington project has taken another step forward. A second purpose-built precinct has been established at Richmond ahead of the construction of the northern tunnels. A third boring machine will be constructed and launched to build the twin 2.2-kilometre tunnels. French President Emmanuel Macron has paid tribute to Queen Elizabeth II in his speech at a state banquet with the King. The event held at Windsor Castle.
I'm thinking, first and foremost, of Queen Elizabeth II, because the French had an enormous amount of admiration and real affection for your mother.
And former Deputy Premier Roger Goldsworthy will be farewelled at a state funeral this Friday. He died last week, aged 95. Mr Goldsworthy served as Deputy Premier during the Tonkin Liberal government from 1979 to 1982. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Collect the latest Pokemon packs and single cards at Sports Card World, Regent Arcade, Rundle Mall.
Michael Voss has described death threats as the dark side of football as the AFL's Integrity Department continues to investigate. The shocking message to the Carlton coach is understood to reference a brutal end to his life, but isn't being treated as a credible death threat. Voss says it's completely unacceptable.
Dismissive at first, but there's a flow-on effect. The first thing you always think about is the person beside you or the family member or the team, because as a result of what I do, you appreciate there's an element of scrutiny that comes with that.
Well, the AFL has fined 2 Crows stars for repeatedly ignoring warnings not to wear boots with metal studs. Here's Eddie Summerfield.
Adelaide has copped a $7,500 fine. Ben Keys hit with $5,000 and teammate Josh Rochelle $2,500. The AFL says they've repeatedly ignored warnings not to wear metal studs in their boots. Meantime, Collingwood will welcome back Lockie Schultz and Steele side bottom for Friday night's clash with Gold Coast. Craig McRae ready, the Pies' first encounter with a top 8 side since May.
That's what happens when you play them all in the first 10 weeks. No, every week's the same.
While at Essendon, Mason Redman returns from a hamstring injury against Richmond on Saturday night.
In a first for the Bend, it'll host an enduro race later this year. The AirTouch 500 will be the only enduro race round outside Bathurst. It's expected to draw over 50,000 people and 3,000 campers across 3 days from September 12th to 14th. And in tonight's State of Origin decider, New South Wales will field an unchanged side from their loss to Queensland in Game 2. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Heavy showers rolling through this afternoon for the drive home. Do take it easy. And with that flooding at Modbury at the intersection of North East Road near Kelly Road, West Hindmarsh Smash has just popped up. The North-South motorway near Hindmarsh Avenue. And seeing delays with the crash as well at Port Adelaide, the Port River Expressway near Perkins Drive. Camera 2 tonight, Stanford Road, Salisbury Heights. Today at Harvey Norman, save over $500 on a Sony Bravia 55-inch 4K Google TV, now under $1,000. More deals in store and online. Go Harvey Norman, Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Rain tonight, showers tomorrow, a high of 15. Showers on Friday, 16, and sunny on Saturday, 18. At the moment, 9. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Thank you. I'm Kate Collins. Tonight's headlines. An alleged drink driver with a young child in the car has been nabbed travelling on the wrong side of Port Wakefield Road. The push for reform, with 200 local childcare centres failing to meet standards. And Adelaide has shivered through its coldest day in 4 years and the wettest in 18 months. And don't worry, you haven't missed the news. You can start over on 9 now as soon as you're home.
The property was a real mess and was in dire need of a bit of TLC. It needed updating considerably. I initially engaged paint professionals to start on the window frames, and then it moved on to the painting of the external house, the roof, the rendering, the whole works. I think what impressed me the most about paint professionals was Marty and his team. At the end of the day, they were always here when they said they were going to be in here. I'd highly recommend paint professionals to others. They've done an outstanding job. They were just great guys to work with, and I look forward to using them again in the future.
Cup of tea, dear? The kettle's on. Would you like a cup of tea, love?
If you're concerned about hearing loss for a loved one, book an appointment with Can Do Hearing. candohearing.com.au. That sounds better.
When it comes to flooring, you've got the world at your feet at Floor World. Floor World has serious purchasing power, keeping prices low on a huge range of flooring options. There's wool and synthetic carpets, engineered timber flooring, laminate, hybrid and vinyl flooring, even plantation shutters and blinds. Visit one of our 4 locations at Jebbs Cross Homemaker HQ, 1027 Port Road, Cheltenham, 60 The Parade in Norwood and Manopara Shopping Centre HQ. Plus, mention this ad for 15% off.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticketek.
Rowie and Timmy G, the 5AA Sports Show.
It is 8 after 6, driving with Dixon coming up at 6:30 tonight with special guest Craig Lowndes. So stay tuned for Charlie Dixon's motoring program very soon. We'll speak to Adelaide Thunderbirds star Matilda Garrett, and we'll have some tickets to give away very soon as well. And we'll keep taking your calls, but just before we do that, I reckon we've received the best unique homestyle food text of the year, Timmy G.
Well, it's on the back of the Where Are They Now with David Hines. We just, what would you say, we just mentioned a little incident that happened at the end of the night in 1989. And this came in. Now, I'm not going to read it all, but I'll paraphrase. Hi, I was the copper who arrested David Hines that night. We arrested his partner first, and then Hinesy intervened, and so we arrested him. We had him in the back of the car cage, and Wayne Marnie walked past and asked, have you got a lot of troublemakers in there? And I said, no, we got David Hines. He said, BS, let me have a look. She said, I opened the door, and he looked, and he climbed in and joined him.
Great text.
That is the best. Yeah. What a classic. Well, our fantastic Thunderbirds, they just keep hanging in there, let me tell you this. And they beat the Mavericks, and they've got a huge game. The last minor round game against Sunshine Coast Lightning will decide whether they play in the finals. It's massive. Matilda Garrett, one of their stars, is on the line. G'day, Tilly.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Exciting stuff, mate. Win and you're in.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really as simple as that. And Lightning, the team that we're playing, they're also playing for the finals. So if they win, they're in, and if we win, we're in.
It's a big one. There's no doubt about that. Just going back on the last game, and I know I'm going to touch on the outfit you're going to wear this week, but I loved last week's uniform. That was a cracker.
Yeah. It was Indigenous round last week, and it was awesome to wear the dress that was designed by Gab Stengel. It was very pretty. It was, all black and very different to the dresses we've had previously.
Well, it made everything else pop. I loved it. But this week, you're going into Heritage Round, and you're going back to the inaugural colours, the old silver, blue, purple. I love that outfit. It takes me back to the 90s, a happy place.
Yes, no, it's beautiful. It's one of our favourite dresses, so we've saved one of the best for last.
Well, you're going to need all the 6,000 supporters there as well, because it's member recognition round as well.
Yeah, it's the RAA.
Yeah,
good sponsorship.
You would be expecting a full crowd there?
Yeah, I think it's a sellout, which is super exciting. And we were just told today as well that we've just reached 6,000 members, which is pretty exciting. I think that means that we're second in the league for members, and for such a small state, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess you just touched on it around whoever wins goes in. So I guess this is the start of your finals campaign. So you're confident that you can get the three-peat?
Oh, absolutely. I think, this whole time we've had confidence that we can make the finals, and we've spoken about it from the very beginning, that we've just got to take it week by week. And obviously this week is our last opportunity to make finals, but yeah, absolutely, we have the belief that we can win this weekend, and then take it week by week in finals.
I like the way you went about winning against the Mavericks. I heard the commentator saying, they're working the ball back to the middle of the court, and it's an easier entry from there. I actually thought you did that well. I thought you worked the middle of the court very well. You were working overtime, Tilly.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice. I mean, I guess we always do try and work down the middle, because it, gives you more options. It's a safer path rather than passing across from an outside channel to an outside channel. But, yes, I was very proud of the team and the win last week, and it was nice to do it at home.
Your defensive efforts were excellent. Second term, I think they only scored 7. So you really were quite tight. It probably set the game up for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, we defensively it was an awesome game, and it was all the way down the court. But probably a special shout out would be to Laddie, who was playing goalkeeper, and she was unstoppable. I think she got 9 intercepts, which is might be the equal world record, which she was gutted not to get 10.
I like it.
She was upset about it.
Yeah. Well, and Sam Marie Viss is probably going to miss again, and you may have a debutante in Molly Watson this weekend?
Potentially. Sana's been training. She had a bit of a bad back, and it kind of came at a bad time last week. So she's back training. So I'm not too sure what the go is, but if Sana is unavailable, then hopefully it would be Molly, and that would be pretty amazing if she debuted. She's been a training partner for maybe 4 or 5 years.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
And on the injury front, did I hear little Georgie Horges got something wrong with her thumb? Is it a thumb?
She did. She dislocated it on the weekend. I know. She said it didn't hurt that badly, but then she looked down and realised it wasn't sitting where it should be. And I think that, obviously wasn't nice to see. Came off the court, and Duncan, our doctor, put it in for her nice and subtly. So she strapped it up and went back on, which was good.
So being a tough little KI produce, she'll front up, won't she?
Ready to go.
Yeah. That's it. She'll just strap it up. She'll be fine.
Tough.
She'll be
I
good
like
to
that.
go.
Now, I've got a personal question. I want to find out. I don't know all the rules of netball. Been watching for a long time. I got told off once at the Maelstrom courts for interfering. True story.
Oh no!
Umpire stopped the game and pointed at me. Yeah, because all I said was, "Come on, girls, you've got them now. The momentum has swung." That's all I said.
Do that.
They stopped the game and pointed me out. I was named and shamed, Tilly.
I'll tell you a quick story of that. Rod Jamison, who's a friend of ours, his daughter plays with my daughter, and they play at contacts.
Yeah,
and I did exactly the same thing, and the umpire stopped the game, and I pointed to Jamo and said it was him.
So we're both in trouble.
Correct.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. But in the last couple of minutes, I saw what I could not believe. We've just had 2 of the Wallabies in here, and when they throw the ball in, I think they call it the lock, and they lift somebody up and they grab the ball. And I saw Latanya Wilson do that with you. What's going on there? And it was a brilliant tactic, to defend and just lifted Tilly up, and she put her arms up, and the whistle went. Is it illegal what you were doing?
Yes, no, that we are allowed to do that. Definitely. The reason I got penalised was the umpire thought that I was closer than 3 feet, but yes, that's something we definitely could pull out a lot more. Because
I like it.
It was
it's
insane.
something a little bit different.
Yeah, and bang, just looked at it. It was like the best ballet move you've ever seen.
It was like Dirty Dancing, was it?
It was like Dirty Dancing.
Whose idea was that?
All right, we'll try and pull out another one this week.
That was Tilly, you've blown me away with that. That was sensational. What will you think of next? That's all I can think of. Hey, it's going to be sensational this week.
Yes, it will be.
And look, all the best with it. We think you're the form side now. You win. Everybody else is going to be packing their dacks as far as finals go. All right.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We're ready.
All the best against the Lightning, and let's get us into the finals. Thanks, Tilly.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Matilda Garrett, she's a goal defence in the team, and
tough
does an
position
amazing
as
job.
a defender in netball.
It is.
Yeah,
you don't get a lot of love.
I get frustrated when I watch my daughters in mid-quarter, and you watch, and they get no leeway at the defenders at all.
But I couldn't believe that tactic, and I found out it's legal.
There you go.
Great.
Well, amazing. 822 300 555. Do you want to head along? Call in now. Tickets for you and a friend to the Adelaide Thunderbirds do or die game for finals on the line at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. It is Saturday against the Sunshine Coast Lightning. So call through now, 822 300 555. You can have those tickets. Let's get back to your calls, 822 300 555. It's 17 after 6.
Beautiful. We go to Vinny. G'day, Vinny.
G'day, fellas. How are you?
Excellent.
Look, I heard that Josh Rochelle had the metal studs. So I'm just wondering, when he jumped up and then he came down and his foot would have gone straight in really tough. Now, if he went the wrong way, I'm just thinking if that's what caused the incident where he got injured. You think something that could have happened?
Well, potentially, Vinny. Yeah, I mean, it's a good call. I mean, the idea of it is you don't slip over and you get more grip. So, yeah, don't know. I hadn't thought of that, but good call. Possibly, but I guess that's the risk, isn't it?
And now, is that not? It's legal. It's not legal to have metal studs. Is that right?
No, that's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Because the last person who had it, I think it was a guy from Sydney Swans, got cut up around his leg. I can remember there was somebody from Sydney Swans who, because somebody had the metal studs and he cut his leg, the opposition player. I can't remember the name of that player. Yeah.
Yeah, not sure.
Interesting. Thank you, Vinny. So for those who missed the memo earlier, Adelaide's been slapped as a football club, plus their two players in Ben Keys and Josh Rochelle, fined multiple different amounts for repeatedly ignoring AFL warnings since the start of June to not wear metal studs in their boots during games. So Ben Keys has copped a $5,000 fine, Rochelle $2,500 fine, and the club itself $7,500. And Keys got a little bit more than Rochelle because he's been found to have worn it 4 times across 4 different games, and Rochelle twice since the start of June. So this is only, the last probably 5-6 games.
Unreal.
I'm sure it's a smart move taking on the senior body that's sent out the warning around, don't do it, and you do it 4 more times.
Well, they knew, and then they got a reminder mid-year because clearly it must have been sort of happening a little bit. And Toby Green came out and said earlier in the year he wore them, so I think the crackdown began from there.
All right, well, I think we better get onto the boots and get them sorted out. Let's go to Happy Valley. We've been talking about inspiring stories of, coming from tragedy into triumph. Charlie, you got one for us?
I am going back to 1978. Hawthorn were playing in the grand final. Peter Crimmins was dying of cancer. Hawthorn won the flag, and they went around to Peter Crimmins' hospital room, and there was a big photo on the front page of the Sun the next morning in Melbourne. All the Hawthorn team around Peter Crimmins with the flag, with the Premiership Cup, I mean. Yeah. And I believe he died the next day, but it was just a great, the greatest presentation ever.
Yeah, that's a great call there, Charlie, and a great memory from a really tragic story, Peter Crimmins, wasn't it? Yeah, Hawthorn Premiership player.
Well, that just sort of reminded me. It's probably a bit like Mott's, when Mott's, had his car accident, and then Carlton went on to win in 87. There's a great photo of his great mate, Craig Bradley, in he was able to get down into the room. So, shout out to Motts if he's out there, if you're listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tragedy to triumph. It's all on the back of Cam Munster, who will be playing in the Game 3 Origin decider tonight for Queensland. It is a massive game in Sydney. We'll cross there next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G.
Our place is your place at the Albion Hotel. Your place to raise a glass to a big sporting win, a milestone birthday, or just making it through the week. Cheers. Your place to bring the entire family, including the kids and grandkids, for an amazing meal together. Your place to sit back and just soak it all in. The Albion Hotel. Your local, your people, your place.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. The National Tiles famous annual winter spend and save is on now. Spend $4,000 will only charge you $2,750, or spend $2,000 will only charge you $1,450, or $1,000 will only charge you $750. Don't miss the National Tiles famous annual winter spend and save on now. So rush into a National Tiles store near you, or go online at nationaltiles.com.au now and save. Conditions apply.
When you book a hearing test with Can Do Hearing, you'll be seen by an accredited audiologist. Can Do Hearing is South Australian, and we're not owned by a hearing aid manufacturer. This means we only recommend what's going to work for you, and your options are almost endless. Plus the extra bonus? Our profits go to Can Do for Kids, supporting local kids living with hearing and vision loss. Book an appointment with Can Do Hearing today. candohearing.com.au. That sounds better.
Hi, I live in an apartment and I need an outdoor blind. Okay, that was weird. Hi, I live in an apartment and I need an outdoor blind. What on earth is going on?
Phantom Screens.
I need an outdoor blind for my apartment.
Sure, we can do that.
Oh, great. The last people I called just laughed at me.
Don't worry, Phantom Screens have a solution just for you.
River.
Phantom Outdoor Blinds.
The Gas Shop has the longest fireplace in Adelaide. There is literally a wall of gas fire heaters from all the best brands like Rinnai. And they're all fired up, so you can see how good they look and feel their incredible warmth. And the bonus, the team at the Gas Shop are also qualified gas fitters. It means they can safely install for you too. Heating, cooking, comfort. Turn on to the Gas Shop. 161 Unley Road, opposite Target.
The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo rolls into Brisbane with a spectacular opening night on February 12th. With over 1,000 performances, it's easy to understand why it's recognised as the greatest show on earth. Holiday Wonders are offering you the chance to be at the opening show on our Train to the Tattoo door-to-door guided 8-day package tour. It includes travel from Adelaide to Brisbane on the Great Southern Train, accommodation, meals and sightseeing. Call Holiday Wonders now for details on this trip of a lifetime.
The Lions versus Australia and New Zealand Invitational 15. World-class rugby at Adelaide Oval. Tickets at Ticket Tech.
Rowie and Timmy G. The 5AA Sports Show.
23 after 6, driving with Dixon at 6:30, but it's a massive night for Origin.
It certainly is. It's the decider. It will be played in Sydney. And there's other elements around it now as we go to AAP sports journalist Scott Bailey. Scott, thanks very much for your time. Blues are short favourite, but you never know in these games, and especially on the back of the Cameron Munster story.
Yeah, g'day, boys. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? The story of Origin always is that New South Wales have more players to pick from, inevitably have a better team on paper, except for during Queensland's dynasty, but generally have a better team on paper, but you cannot underestimate the Queensland spirit. And Origin is built off that underdog spirit, and that's probably what we get tonight. I think that's going to be the storyline tonight. It's a matter of whether that's enough for Queensland to overcome the Blues. And obviously, yes, the Cameron Munster news, quite terrible news and horrible news over the weekend with the sudden passing of his father, but he is at Accor Stadium tonight in Sydney, and he will captain the Maroons. And look, if the Maroons are able to get it done, it would be one of the, it would be a famous Origin performance, an Origin effort from him.
Scotty, was it a surprise game 2? I mean, they really jumped New South Wales and then, nearly coughed it up in the second half. But was it a big surprise?
Oh, it definitely was. I mean, look, New South Wales went to Brisbane and got it done in game 1. And, it's very hard for the Blues to win in Brisbane. It's not something that happens very often. But, they got it done up there. And you thought from there with 2 games, a game in Perth and a game in Sydney to come, that New South Wales would probably, do this in a canter. But the Blues were particularly poor, I thought, in the first half in Game 2. Queensland, much improved. And I think what we saw in Perth was when New South Wales got it right, they were, again, the better team in the second half. But I don't think anyone quite expected what came in the first half, where Queensland were 26-6 up at half time. And what was probably more notable was that New South Wales gave away 8 penalties in the first half. They dropped the ball a lot. They were really off their game in the first half. So I think, it was a surprise. It sort of tells a story of what to expect tonight. If New South Wales get it right, they should get the job done. But it's Origin, so it doesn't mean it will happen that way.
Yeah, so I guess you're saying, Scott, it won't be a 26-24 scoreline. It might be a little bit tighter than that. But I see Billy Slater's gone to a little bit of experience. He's got Josh Papali back out of retirement, out of State of Origin retirement.
Yeah, hallmarks of Alfie Langer right from the early 2000s when Queensland brought Alfie back from England for a decider, and he got it done. I mean, Josh Papali retired from Origin football a couple of years ago now, when essentially he was tapped on the shoulder by the Maroons and by Billy Slater. But he has been superb for the Raiders this year. This will more than likely be his last season in the NRL, his last season at the Raiders. So it's a bit of a parting gift for him. And he is he's a really senior, well-respected guy in the NRL and very much in that Queensland group. So he brings in exactly what they want in terms of culture, in terms of motivation, inspiration. I don't know how many he'll start. He may just play the 20, 25 minutes at the start, and that may be it for him tonight. But what he would have brought to the Maroons in the last week and a half will be massive, I would have thought. And just on the Maroons, I'm fascinated with the Daly Cherry Evans decision not to pick him, as he's been a previous captain for a long period of time. Can you give us a bit of a background into that? Yes, he was captain from 2019 through to this year, and he became the first captain from either state dropped mid-series this century when the Maroons lost in Game 1. It was also the first time, for those who are not as across rugby league as others, halfback is the most important position in the team. They control the attack and essentially run the team. He is or was Queensland's halfback, and they dropped him after one game this year. So to drop not only your halfback but your captain after one game was a massive call. I would think it was the biggest selection call Queensland have made this century, I would say. And they handed the captain to Cameron Munster. It gave Tom Dearden the number 7 jersey the halfback role. And I guess they'll prove him right with what happened in Perth. So, again, if they were to get the job done tonight, it would go down in Queensland folklore, probably alongside the 1995 series where they were about their Super League-based players, so essentially all the Brisbane Broncos players. And 2020, when COVID, we had an end-of-season series, and a number of guys were ruled out with injury. That was known as the worst Queensland side of all time before they won the series. I would say if they do the job tonight, it would probably go up there, maybe third to those two series as the great Queensland victories.
Well, we look forward to another great State of Origin game. Scott Bailey, thanks for your time.
Pleasure, boys. Have a good one. Enjoy it.
Excellent. AAP sports journalist Scott Bailey giving us a lowdown on State of Origin tonight.
Who's your tip?
Well, I think New South Wales. I think they are a better. They've got more talent across the board. But, it's 50-50.
It always is.
It's a bit like our traditional rivals, isn't it? Like a showdown or Carlton, Collingwood. It doesn't matter where it is. They just win. But, I'm fascinated. Would you want to be the first hit up? I sit there every time I watch it and go, I'm not sure I'd want to be past the ball and knowing that bloke's 2 or 3 are eyeballing me to put me back in behind the goals.
We had our rugby union friends in. If I was built like Luca, I would like to do it. Let's go to Lightsview. G'day, Jesse.
How you going, guys?
All right, my friend.
Look, I'm a mad Port Adelaide supporter, and I'm excited, really excited the fact that Josh Carr is coaching our side next year. He needs to completely clean out the current coaching panel and bring his new guys in, because we need change. I was listening to one of the TV shows last night, and Hodge was talking about, with Wrinkly leaving and Chad Corns leaving and this, that, the other, whether we're going to keep Butters. I think it's a fantastic scenario and a great opportunity to start from fresh. The other thing, too, is our forward line has been a debacle, and I mean a debacle, for 3 to 4 years, right? And Chad Corns, as much as I love him and I love his dedication and all that, was in charge of that. So, it's an absolute no-brainer. A new coach comes in, new coaches need to come in with him, and I would completely clean it out.
Jesse, thanks for your call, mate. Does it depend, Campo, on contracts?
A little bit, yeah. I think there's an element of that, but now it used to be that you get paid out the term. Now, depending on which year you're in, so if you're in your second year, you get 3 months. I'm pretty sure. I'd stand corrected, but if it's in your first year and you've got a 2-year deal, it might be 6 months. So I think it's less. But I think in Josh's situation, he would have free reign to go. What do you need and what do you want?
Okay,
yeah.
Excellent 3 days, Campo. Thanks for jumping in the chair. It's been fantastic to have you.
Could be 4.
Could be 4. We've got Charlie Dixon's Driving with Dixon next, and he has Australian motorsport royalty on with him next. Of course, Craig Lowndes.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
5AA Winter